Second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about...
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
English, mother...
Body, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Let's put a smile on that face.
What's up, film family? Welcome back to the Film Room Podcast. My name is Scott.
My name's Dion.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy
This
New
will
Year.
be 2025. And how was your 2024, gentlemen?
It was pretty good. I thought you were gonna ask me how my New Year's was.
No.
But
how was your New Year's in the future?
my New Year's was great. Yeah. It was with my dad. I think we watched some comedy special or something.
Okay, nice.
But no, 2024 was good. We started the podcast.
That was the
Big year.
biggest
big year.
thing.
You guys have done well so far.
So far, hey, we're just getting started. And for those of you watching, you can obviously see there are three of us. For those of you that are just listening, the voice you would have heard is our special guest, a good friend of ours. He was actually the best man at my wedding. He goes by the name of Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the podcast, my friend.
sir.
Thank you for joining.
sir.
Thanks you for
Long-time
being on the
fan.
pod, yo. Thanks. Second guest.
Second ever guest.
I know.
Go back to Transformers. That was our first one. If for anybody that's
Jamari on that
was not, you know Jamari as well. So today we're doing Tenet, 2020, Christopher Nolan sci-fi action movie. And because you were the guest, this was your pick. You chose to do Tenet. Why did you choose Tenet?
I'll tell you why. I had my short list,
Okay.
but what really sent it home, I remember when this came out. It was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is one of those ones, underappreciated, flew under the radar a little bit. If this had come out 2018, 2019, I feel like it would be a much more appreciated movie than what it was. So I feel like, hidden away under the pandemic a little bit. I thought, perfect time. Let's bring this one up, review, revise, see what we feel. I'd like to, pick your minds. It's a little bit of a cerebral film, so always curious to hear the film room side of things. You know what I mean? Get the deep dive.
The deep dive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel the same way about it. As you put it on the list, I was like, yeah, that's a movie I feel like, I think at this point people have probably seen it, but it was one of those things where it's like a lot of people didn't get to experience it in the theater. Like I feel like most Nolan movies, just like you talk about like your Inception, Interstellar. I mean, I could list a bunch of movies, but Batman, I'm gonna stop there. But like, there's so many movies that people got to experience in the theaters. His whole thing is the IMAX. You know what I mean? So most people got to watch this on their couch. So it kind of just went in the wayside and got lost in COVID.
Yeah,
So
I actually saw this one in theaters. This was
Oh,
when there
really?
was a brief break in lockdown. Went to go see that thing. I think the next week lockdown came back.
Wow.
I said,
Yeah,
"Thank
I
God
did.
I went to see that."
I'm pretty sure the first time I watched this on my laptop, which is probably like the worst way you can watch a
That's
movie,
such a
especially a
disservice.
movie like that. Like you said, they shot it in IMAX. They spent all this extra time and effort and money to shoot it in IMAX, and most people wouldn't have got the opportunity to really experience it like that. I think the sound too is a big thing.
Yeah,
like
especially with Nolan.
Just like I
Sound
mean, with
design.
action movies specifically too. When there's explosions and a bunch of crazy stuff happening, like when you're in a theater, it just like it shakes. Like you feel it. Like when you're in your house, it still hits, but it's not the same. It's not the same. You know
no,
what I mean?
I agree. I actually saw it in theaters just like him.
Oh.
Is that brief period
Nice.
when the theaters opened up, snuck in there. There was like 5 of us in the theater.
You snuck in?
No. I mean,
you
that
had
would
a
have been
mask
hard
on.
during COVID. That'd be especially
True.
hard to sneak in. They know everybody that's coming in. They have a ticker. How many people are
Oh,
in the
that's
theater?
true.
to show
yeah.
ID.
Yeah, you
everywhere
gotta show
went.
ID and
Oh,
everything.
that's
Show
right.
your
Scan your vaccine.
Yeah,
passport, all
exactly.
that.
You could not
shoot.
sneak in during those times. But yeah, I saw it the same way. Snuck in, watched it then, and then I watched it second time. I had to tell everybody, what sat my family down. I was like, we're gonna watch this. We had to buy it though. It's still on our TV. That's how I rewatched it.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, when I was like, I put on 10, and I was like, oh, you still have this purchased? I'm like, damn, it's still from
Why not?
2020.
Well, it doesn't expire.
I don't know,
right?
for whatever reason I thought it was. I don't know.
Well, if you rented it.
Yeah, I think that's what
Okay.
I thought. I think we rented
enough.
it, and then I realized, like, oh, Dad, you actually paid for it.
Yeah,
Purchased it.
That's fair. So this is widely considered as one of Nolan's like weakest movies. And do you think that's true? And whether yes, and I guess if not, why do you think people think that?
So I'll tell you, I feel off the bat, it's one of those on first watch, first impressions, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those, I'll watch a movie once and I'm done with it. How do I feel? It can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. So I can understand to a degree why people may not have this one up there with like a Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You got some big ones up, the Prestige. You know what I mean? You got some big ones up there. But this is one of those, the more you watch it, the more you unpack, the more you understand. I think the better it gets. And the little things that you missed the first watch or maybe didn't fully understand or fully appreciate become more impactful after a second or even a third watch.
Yeah.
So I think most people will watch a movie once and they're done. So I can understand why this may be a weaker film in this kind of filmography. But if you will rewatch this one 2-3 times, I think that really pushes it up your list of Nolan films. So I think that's something, it was done a disservice in the sense that not a lot of people are going to rewatch it. Just most people don't rewatch movies like that. If you rewatch this film, you will appreciate it more. If you watch it a third time, you will appreciate it even more. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons.
How many times have you seen this?
So this one was actually my third one.
Okay.
So I know we're going to get into the plot, but the first one I kind of left there thinking, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
But I'm glad I watched it in the theater because then I got the ambiance of
Yeah.
the sound and the screen and all that. So the second time I went into it, I was like, okay, I've seen this before. Now let me go in there with the concept of I want to understand this plot.
Yeah.
And this third one, now having watched it twice, I tried to go into it now knowing who's who and what's what. I actually looked at it from another character's perspective, who we'll get into.
Okay. That's an
And
interesting
I
way to
think
watch a movie.
looking at it from that perspective almost changed how I took the movie in.
Who's sorry, I'm gonna let you get into
Yeah,
it in
no,
a
no,
second,
no.
Dion, but whose
Just
character like were
Neil.
you?
So
Neil.
Robert Pattinson's
Okay.
character on that third watch, I tried to pick apart his performance a bit more. And oh, gee, I didn't notice that before. Oh, he said this, and
Okay.
this carries more weight now that I understand the whole
Interesting.
plot. Yeah, so
All
that
right.
third one, that was the most recent one.
Yeah.
That most recent watch, I went to it with that, okay, I understand the larger plot. Let me try and pick out the key details. So now I understand his character arc a bit more. So when I see him for that first time, I'm like, oh, he said that like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand why he said that
Mm-hmm.
like that. And it makes his it made me appreciate Robert Pattinson even more. And
He's
now
great.
we're a few years removed, right?
Yeah.
The Batman's coming.
Yeah.
Like he was phenomenal in the Batman. So I have so much more appreciation for Robert Pattinson. He's come a long way from
Twilight.
Edward Cullen.
Yeah,
He's come a long
for
way.
sure. For sure.
100%. It's funny that you had that perspective on the movie too, because my viewing was pretty similar. I think the first time I watched it, again, like I really liked it, but it was another one of those things where I was like, what did I just kind of watch kind of thing. And I agree with you with the rewatch thing, because I also feel like not only do not a lot of people like rewatching movies, but the movie's also 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that's already a tough sell to tell someone, yo, you got to watch it again. They're kind of like, all right, dog,
Yeah.
I already watched the 2 hour and a half
Yeah.
movie. Like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it again. If I didn't, whatever, kind of went to the wayside for me. The second time was actually a different experience for me, because in the second time, after like seeing what everything was, I was realizing, I was like, it's a lot of talking. In the sense of like in Inception, I was going to compare it to Inception, because again, we got the same director,
Yeah.
same kind of time thing, not the exact same time concept, but I was like, to me, it was a lot of explaining, and that was one of the things that kind of like made me dislike it. Took a star away from me, and I was kind of like, do I like this movie? I feel like throughout the movie they're kind of explaining a lot to me.
Yeah.
It's like our protagonist is confused, and we're already confused because we don't know what's going on. And every scene, somewhat different person's telling them, "I can't tell you that," and then they're explaining them something. I'm like, okay, maybe I don't like this movie. But on this third watch, I was actually like, you know what, I'm back in. I like the movie, and I
It roped you back
actually
in.
watched it through the Neil perspective
No
too. That's
way.
why it's weird he said that.
Okay.
It was based off something that someone said to me. That I was like, okay, I'm gonna look for that this time. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this movie.
I actually have
more now.
I have a very polarizing idea, and I feel very strongly about it. But I'm gonna tease it because I'm gonna bring it up after we go through the movie.
Okay.
But I will get there, and it revolves around like you guys watching from Neil's perspective. So that's why I bring it up now. But I
Okay.
will bring it up because I want your thoughts on it. But no, you're right that like a lot of this movie is just explaining stuff, and if we compare it to an Inception like you did before, that was kind of similar because like it's Nolan. It's his original idea. Right. So there's no source material. There's not like, you can't assume that people understand what's going on. Like, this is how this inverted objects things work. So you have to explain to us from scratch how this shit works. And it's very confusing. And then when they have people moving forward and people moving backward, and it's like, you know, what's happened, but we're going back in time to affect this stuff. Like all this shit, like I still don't even fully understand all this stuff. And I think that's what people don't like about it so much, is that like we don't, and like you said, Dion, the protagonist, same thing. He's like, what's going on? And then they tell him a little bit, but not too much. And then a little bit, not too much. I get that they don't want to like reveal the whole movie right at the start, for sure. I get that. You want to keep twists coming. But I feel like maybe you got to give us a little bit more and try and find ways to like teach us without just exposition dumps. But you at the same time you need to be able to just black and white say this is how it works because it's so confusing. So it's a really hard balance. And I think Inception was done a little bit better than in this one, in my opinion. Because I think this one, it moves so fast. Like as soon as he sits down with Kat, for example, and she's explaining why Sator has control over her with this fake drawing, and her son, and then right after that's over, and she's explaining all this thing, so they got to go steal this drawing and all this, and then boom, we're right into it. And so we don't have time to like digest what was just told to us, and it's moving so fast that like on the first watch, you're just trying to keep up. You're just trying to
What
be
am
like,
I
okay,
watching?
why are they here? Why are they doing this? How does this work? And then you're right. The more you watch it, like you understand that stuff, so you can appreciate little bits and pieces, other bits and pieces of it. But in my opinion, I think the action's good, not great. There's a lot of talking. So these are all like things that like just make it lower and lower. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. But
what
if we're
keeps it
saying
from being that 10?
well,
What brings it down?
I'm saying in comparison to the rest of his films, he has such great movies that we hold him to a high standard, right? So we're like, I'm not saying I don't like this movie, but is it one of his lower tier movies? I would think so.
That's fair.
No, I get that, and even to go to your point of when in comparison, it's like people always like you say you don't want to compare, but again, like you said, because it's Nolan and he has a record of like making these films, which also I feel like is a reason why this movie gets more of a chance. If another director made this movie, I don't think people would be as kind to it. Because people would be like, what's this guy trying to do? It's nonsense. Because it's Nolan, everyone's like, all right, let's sit down. Let's try to unpack it like we're doing right now. So I feel like it definitely gets that. But I see what you're saying, especially.
I think there's a few directors like that get like a long leash for creative concepts, but not a lot. You know what I mean? Like there's a few that
You got to earn it.
Yeah, here's a couple $100 million. Do what you want. Very few. Like who? Nolan, Tarantino
gets that.
Like a
Denise maybe
Spielberg.
earned that at this point. Well, I mean, Spielberg, he just produced his own movies at this point.
At
Like,
this point, is he really directing?
Same
much
with
these days?
Scorsese.
Scorsese,
They can
yeah.
do whatever they want.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys.
I like Fincher could probably do what he wants at this point now, but he doesn't make his movies as frequently as he used to.
Right. Well, the last one he just came out with, The Killer.
Yeah,
That went
Netflix
straight to
lets you do whatever
Netflix.
you
That one
want.
was well received though.
Netflix says it was. Netflix lets you do whatever you want though.
Yeah.
They're just like, here's the money, do whatever.
I don't know if Netflix is worth it anymore. Like they do these long, elaborate, big budget projects that sit on there, disappears in the shuffle of Netflix. You never hear about it again. It's maybe on the front page for a week and.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, because it doesn't go to a theater, right? So so it's hard to tell like if people love it. I mean, they release their numbers, I guess, of how many people stream it.
Best.
Or
but how often are critics and audience not connecting?
Yeah.
You know?
No.
That doesn't
Critics
mean,
hate
yeah,
it,
that doesn't mean
audience
anything.
love
We
it.
talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
We're like,
that's true.
fuck the critics,
Critics
man. It
don't
doesn't
love it.
matter. Like we're people. Now that I have the podcast, they're like, oh, what did you think of this movie? Like, I'll get a critic. I'm not a movie critic.
Yeah.
By
I'm just
definition,
a
though.
guy.
You're a movie critic now.
Well, I
Film
guess,
room.
but like I don't have no credentials. I'm just a guy with a podcast.
Isn't
Just
that
'cause
every movie critic? Unless you studied film, I guess.
That's what I mean.
But even
Yeah,
then,
if you're
guess.
a professional critic.
But we're the
there?
type of guys, I feel like not most critics, but at least the ones of the past will always be like, oh, this movie's not, we'll never say a movie's not worth watching. We'll always say, you watch it, we'll tell you our opinion on it, but we're not gonna be like, this movie's trash, don't even waste your time.
Yeah.
We were nice about Megalopolis.
Yeah,
we
be
told
real.
people
There's some.
We told people, yo, go check it out for yourself. Maybe you'll like it. We're
Yeah.
pretty.
You lied to those people.
Well, I mean, because
Like, there's some you should tell them.
Yeah,
Stream
but
it
there were some
illegally.
things in that movie that I liked, and like every movie that I go into, because I'm a movie fan. I'm not a movie critic. I'm a movie fan. So when I walk into a movie, I want to enjoy it.
Exactly.
So like I'm looking for things to like about it. Like Joker 2, everybody hated that movie, and I was like, there is a lot of stuff in this movie that I like. There's some stuff I don't like, and that's the same with it. Like this movie. There's some stuff that I didn't like, and I just talked about it, but there's a lot that I did like about this movie too.
Is there any movie you've sat at the year like,
Nothing.
I wish I could get a refund here?
I've never put myself in a situation where I've gone to a movie that it'd be that bad. I've watched movies at home that's just like, maybe I should turn this off.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever been like, especially now in my life, I couldn't imagine myself paying to go sit in front of something that I'm not sure about. I'm pretty sure if I'm going to go
I've
sit in a
seen
theater.
I've seen some.
Oh, really?
Dude, well, I like going to the movies.
Yeah.
Like at the actor.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing in theaters, I'm like, all right,
Take
we'll
a
just
chance
go,
on this.
We'll just go see this. I've been in some
Oh,
dudes.
damn.
The Rock Hercules movie.
Oh, snap.
Dude, I don't go to see any Rock movies.
Except Fast and Furious.
I'm the
See
Rock's
Fast and
biggest
Furious?
hater.
Except the,
You
no,
wanna
he's
see
seen the
Fast
Fast
and
and Furious. He's
Yeah,
all the
but he's not. He's
not the
those
star.
movies aren't good because of him.
Yeah, that's true.
Big to differ.
You think?
What's your favorite one? Go ahead, tell the audience.
Fast Five?
Who's the
He's
prominent
a big
new
no. He's a
character?
big part of that.
He is a big part of that one. But
Got him.
he works in that movie because it's not about being a good actor or having a great character. It's about being this swole, oiled up dude that's shooting guns and chasing cars. That's what the movie is.
That's The Rock. You just
Exactly. That's
described
what
The
I'm
Rock.
saying.
That's
So
him
like,
in every
so
film.
that's why
Sweaty
he's perfect for
and
that
muscular.
movie. But every other movie, miss me with that.
Yeah, you don't like when they go into space and
No. I'm saying every other movie that The Rock's
The Rock.
in.
Yeah. Now we're just going The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but back to Tenet.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you guys before we get into it. So John David Washington, he's credited as the protagonist, and we bring him as the protagonist, like an unnamed character.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a reason for that, or like why do you think that's a thing?
Well, I think that's just to hide his identity. I think he actually has a name, but he tells everyone he's the protagonist. I thought that's what I assumed it was.
Okay.
well, this is one like when I first watched it and I got home, I'm like, hey, wait, did I miss something? What was his name? And then I look it up, I'm like, oh no, they just named him the protagonist. I'm like, all right, man, do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know I'm sure there's like an artistic like choice behind it.
Yeah, I think he's being cute.
But I'm
he's
kinda
being
like-
cute a little
You
bit.
probably I think you're right. I think
Does it take anything away if his name is Steve?
no, you're right. That's why he's saying it's just a cute thing.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
it
he's just
doesn't-
being cute. Yeah, because I also feel like when I thought the same thing. I looked at IMDb and I was like, wait, were there other players, like other characters named protagonists? Like, well, I was like scrolling, I was like, no, okay, no, it's just him. I was like, did IMDb not update their shit? They don't know his name, so like that was a protagonist. I don't remember. I don't
Whatever
know
his name was, that guy.
That guy, yeah.
I think they're just being cute.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually that deep because
No.
I think sometimes a lot of times. Anyways,
Yeah.
I think sometimes when they're breaking down movies or they think about movies, they're like every single thing has this meaning that goes back 3 chapters and is super deep because of that. Especially if it's a Nolan movie, right? They're like, oh, everything has to be. Is like sometimes people just want to do
100%.
have an idea
See,
and they just do
I
it.
don't know, man. No, I'm maybe one of those in that camp. I'm like, it's Nolan. It probably means something.
It could. I could be wrong.
I'm curious what is
Kendrick gets that in music too. I feel
Yeah,
like Kendrick
100%.
music.
Yeah,
even
you're
if he
right.
didn't do anything, people are like,
Yeah.
I think he's wearing that hat because
Yeah,
it's just like
exactly.
okay, I don't know. I
plus
think
the
he's just
artistic interpretation of this
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah, 100%. See, this bar had 4 words, and that's because
exactly.
this is his 4th album,
and he was born on the 4th.
brother.
wearing, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But it's fun sometimes doing that. Just
You're right.
theorizing.
You're right. Should we jump right into the
Yeah,
plot then? Or you
let's
guys?
do it. Get
All right.
into it.
So we start with this opera scene, and right away, my first question to you guys. So he's working for the CIA at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're rescuing this guy, and he has this package. He has the piece of the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So is he part of the CIA? Like the CIA has part of the algorithm? They know about all this time inverted stuff?
At this point, I believe everyone everyone believes it to be plutonium at this point.
Okay.
So only essentially like Tenet and like the main antagonist kind of group know that it's the algorithm. So at this point, John David Washington, the protagonist, believes this is plutonium or something like this. They got to get it from this guy. I believe that's at that point.
Yeah.
You could be right.
Like I think it's only like an hour in it or an hour and a half in. They're like, hey, that plutonium you've been chasing ain't plutonium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep in there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But yeah, what did you guys think of the whole opera scene?
I thought it was good. I like the opera scene. I mean, it's like it's one of those like we're getting right into it. Let's start off with action. So I'm like, okay, let's go. I like the way it started off. Again, we talked about how there's a lot of talking in this movie. The movie could have started off with talking.
True.
So like the fact that it started off with action, which is probably why they did that. Like, there's gonna be a lot of explaining this movie. Let's give them some action on the jump. And I thought it was a little bit confusing because again, you don't know what's going on, which is again the whole movie is kind of like a little bit of a mystery. But I liked the way it introduced itself.
Well, it's funny because Scott said it earlier, and even in my notes, I had it like there's no hand holding in this one. Like they're like, we're starting, plot started. Like, you're not getting into your pop. Pay attention. It's one of those like, if your girl's one of those, she gonna ask you questions or be on her phone. Pick another movie. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Oh, that I just remembered something I was gonna say too. I feel like this movie is like watching an anime, where in the sense of, because I watch it with reading subtitles, you don't look away because you'll miss
facts.
everything.
Yeah.
Movie is like that.
Yeah.
It's like if I look away, wait, I don't know Japanese, so I got to keep my eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
If you look away during this and you're not paying attention for a second, you're lost. If you miss 5 minutes of this movie, not even, if you miss a minute of this movie, you're like,
lost.
what's happening?
You're not going
Yeah.
to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But that's why I think like it's almost too much. Like you're right that means that on second, third, fourth watches you can appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But like if you can't look away for a second, like bro, you can either break this up into 2 movies or like compact it a little bit, because like if you miss a single line sometimes, like it's one line where they'll say what's going on, why they're doing something, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then they're doing it. And then you're like, whoa, what the? Because like when I sat down to watch this movie, I was like, well, not when I sat down, but before I sat down, because I had to like make dinner. I was like, oh, should I just throw it on the TV? And like, and then I was like, no, not with this. A lot of movies you can do that.
Yeah.
For this one, I was like, not a chance that I could do that. Like,
If you're
while
trying to
it's
dice
playing.
some tomatoes while they're doing all this, you're gonna be
Exactly.
you're gonna be lost.
Exactly. Like I feel like a lot of movies after an exposition dump, you'll either have like an action scene,
Yeah.
where okay, I can watch this thing and I don't have to think about it. I can just enjoy the visual appeal of this, and I can think about what they were just talking about. You know what I mean? It gives me time to like digest. This one,
Nope.
none of that.
No.
Next.
None of that.
No.
Then we get our Family Guy moment.
Oh,
right
yeah,
away.
that's true. Yeah, pretty quick. I mean,
Pretty
they say it
quick.
a bunch of times too.
Yeah, they say it a bunch, but like
No,
the first one, I feel
yeah.
like is what counts.
No, that is. Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. He gives him the hand gesture. Tenet. There, he said it. In the windmill, and when he's like, I guess getting better because he was getting tortured, right?
Yeah.
So we don't actually really see it, but the guy like had
They're pulling
I guess
his teeth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's
you're right.
pulling
He
his
said
teeth.
it.
Yeah.
He did say he
they
was
had to
pulling his teeth.
reconstruct his mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. They do say that. We
While
reconstructed
we've
your
been
mouth.
reconstructing your mouth. What?
Yeah.
What did y'all do?
That's crazy. Because you know what's crazy too? Because like because we see him sitting in the chair, and then he jumps down and he eats the cyanide pill
Yeah.
or whatever, right, from the guy, and his mouth doesn't look super fucked up.
Yeah.
So right after that, did they continue to mess his mouth up? They thought he was dead.
Yeah, no, that's true. that is true.
I'm trying to recall, but I don't think he really opens his mouth because I think it's
No,
implied like Buddy ripped every single one
Yeah,
of his teeth
but
out.
but is that do you then have to reconstruct your mouth, or is it just putting teeth back in, or is that what he meant? I guess.
Listen,
Hey, it's Nolan. It means something. Okay, this is very meaningful.
as you know,
This
the
is-
pliers symbolize life.
Exactly. See, there's 2 sides to the plier. One is moving
my
forward
gosh.
through time. One is moving backward through time.
How many rows of teeth do you have?
Yeah, there you go.
2 directions in time.
I mean, there is the like it's happening at this train thing, and there's one moving forward and
Yeah,
back.
no, that's true. That's definitely symbolism.
That is-
That is
yeah,
definitely
yeah, yeah.
symbolism.
Points
Yeah,
that out.
It was, the clock thing was confusing me a little bit. Like when I first watched it, and then I was still kind of like I kind of let it go. When he's pulling the clock back and constantly saying they'll be here at 7.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, because they're going back in time. Time's
was he
resetting.
actually resetting time?
Well, so what it was a timer. He's like, they only last 20 minutes. Your buddy
Okay.
lasts 20 minutes. He set the timer or whatever, puts it down.
Okay, yeah.
Time goes up. He's like, I'm going back. Looks like
okay.
we got to restart.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to that analogy of time going back.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
again with the trains crossing, going in the different. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this is one of those things I pick up now on
Yeah.
second, third watch.
No,
I'm
for
like,
sure.
Yeah.
oh, they throwing it in my face now. I was so ignorant and blind. How little I knew.
That's the difference between Nolan and Tarantino, because they were pulling out his teeth, but they never showed it. I'm not saying they have to, but Tarantino would have shown that shit
For sure.
So like every time they went to get in his mouth, like they like do a shot where it's behind the train, or they just show. So that's why at first I was like, reconstruct his mouth. I didn't even really notice he was missing teeth. I didn't really.
Yeah.
There was barely any blood dripping, so it was
Tarantino
just
would've
like
showed every single
every
tooth
tooth
coming
come
out.
out. Yeah, 100%.
Because what was
They
this
would have
movie
slit
rated?
his throat. And
Yeah, it must have been like 14A. They didn't want to make. He didn't want to have an 18A movie.
I'm curious now.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
But yeah, no, that was just the one thing I noticed. But yeah, as like then we get into the room where he's back up, and then he's kind of explained to him. Yeah, and then we get our Tenet moment.
Because he told him you didn't talk.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, what about my team?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they talked.
Sorry
it's-
to inform you.
So it's PG-13.
Oh, okay,
So
so
that's
that's
why.
why. That's why.
So that's
yeah.
why for sure
They can't have
wanted to keep
teeth
that
flying
rating.
out.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But like, when he's in the windmill, like out in the ocean, and he's like, doing push-ups, pull-ups, whatever, like you see him building back up.
Yeah.
Like the Dark Knight type shit.
Yeah.
Or I guess that's Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
Anyways, he climbs all the way up to the top of the ladder and then starts doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
I was like, couldn't you just go up 2 steps? Why did you have to do that? Because
Didn't look badass
the
enough.
depth. It adds the character. He's who's gonna carry the boats? You know what I mean? You gotta climb. If he fails, he's gonna die. He's a man's man.
That's so stupid.
He's manly. He's masculine.
I would just more so think about how uncomfortable it would be to do pull-ups with that because
True, there's
it'd be
a bar
hitting
ladder.
your bar would be on your forearm.
Yeah.
So usually it's just bar and then nothing, so you can pull up. But then if the bar is on your, I was just thinking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I
No, you're right. That's a good point.
But I think he did it for the shot. You need to pull him forward so you can have so you can have the depth.
Yeah.
So you can have the depth of field. That's literally I think the only reason
I
he
know.
did it.
I'm just here to poke holes.
Okay.
That's
So I'll tell you, this
what we're here
scene,
for.
again, second, third watch,
Yeah.
this scene hit different for me now because this is the time later in the movie when he's going
Yeah, that's true.
back.
he's going
all right,
spoilers.
spoilers. He's going back in time.
No, don't have to worry about spoilers.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
but spoiler, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch
Spoiler
it. Come
to
back.
later in the podcast, I
Yeah.
guess, because it's coming.
Yeah.
But anyways, when he's going back in time later, they put him in this tower so he doesn't accidentally bump into his.
Yeah, so
Oh.
Yeah.
So they have him
'Cause he
contained
passes.
there while his past self is going, or future self is going back in time.
Yeah.
So while he doesn't encounter him, they put him in that. Well, I guess himself from the future.
But
puts
you
his
can
past self.
see your past self. You just
can't
can't
touch.
touch yourself.
You can't
Yeah.
touch. But I guess at that
It would've
point he
raised
didn't know anything
questions,
yet,
though.
right? So
Yeah,
how
it
does he
would've
explain
raised
that? How does
questions.
he explain that to himself so early?
yeah.
He didn't know anything.
Yeah. That is kind of how they make it, like how they validate where they're not telling us everything, because they're like, if we can't give you it all at once, it'll be too much for your feeble human brain, I guess. But
Well, I
like,
think the line Neil says at one point, it's like, we know the future, but if I tell you something, will you do something different? Will
True.
that change
Yeah.
the future? I don't know,
But
so
what's
I don't
happened,
risk
happened.
it. Hey, that's what he said.
that's my biggest
But
beef with the
no,
movie. Is
hold
like,
on, though. I think he says something at the end. This was one of my candidates for quote of the year or quote of the film, whatever. But it didn't get picked, so I have to say,
Hey, this is coming out New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
New Year's
quote
Day.
of the
Yeah, that's the quote of the year for 2020 or 2024. Like,
He says, what's happened, which is an expression of faith in the mechanics of the world. It's not an excuse to do nothing.
Okay, I like that.
So once I kind of got that line, I'm like,
yeah, there you go.
all right, listen, yeah,
Things do
I know
matter.
something's set the way it's set, but I still have to act. I don't
Yeah.
know how it's gonna
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, no, it's true.
See, that's an interesting point, because there's I was reading online, like someone else's take was that, not their take, but kind of the different points of views of the different characters. So you have Neil, like you said, that sees it like, yes, what's happened, but at the same time, we still do have an essence of free will, because there's the whole theme of free will throughout
Yeah.
the movie, right? Like our protagonist, he asks, like, when things are inverted, he's like, what about free will? Like, I'm doing this and forcing it to move.
Yeah.
And so that's Neil's perspective. But if you think of Kat's perspective, she's all about free will, right? Like at the end of the movie, she's like, I don't care what's happened. I'm killing you.
Yeah.
I'm making my choice.
This is my choice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you right now, whether the world's about to end or whatever, you know. And then you have Seder, that's the complete opposite. He's like, no, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I know it's set in stone.
Yeah.
It's certain. There's
So
no
it's
changing.
like Neil's the gray area, and then you have these two opposing
Yeah.
forces.
It's a balance.
That's
No, it's a
way to
good
look at it.
balance.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
No, 100%.
But I can't take credit for it. It was someone online. I don't have your name.
No, I'm
so.
pretty sure Scott came up with that.
Yeah, it was.
Just cut that part out.
Yeah, you're right. I'll cut that out. Then we get our first exposition dump. So he meets this girl with the bullet going backwards. Did it work for you?
This is the part of the movie, and I can take myself back to when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm on board with this. To me, I feel like it looks disgusting in the sense of like when I see the bullet come into the gun, and like to me, I'm just like imagining like, for whatever reason, I imagine like drinking water and then the water coming out of your mouth, like
Inverted water?
Yeah, they're inverted of anything. Just feels so wrong.
You know what
I
that just
feel
made me
like.
think of? You ever see that Family Guy episode where they go back in time or whatever with the puking one?
Yeah.
And then they like take back in the
Yeah,
puke.
that's how it felt to me when I saw him take the gun in and all that stuff. I'm like, this. I feel like it would feel wrong to
Yeah.
do these things in reverse. Just the driving, all that stuff.
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
feels wrong. It looks cool. We get a lot of it throughout the movie, but the first time seeing, I was like, okay, that's
It looks
cool.
wonky.
I did have
Yeah.
that. I did have that thought as well. Not the water, but more like if I was wearing a shirt that's inverted and I'm not inverted, how does that? work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, would
Do you
I?
put the shirt
Would it move before
off?
I move? Or
How you
like,
put the shirt on?
how do you put the shirt on?
Yeah.
You go in front of the shirt and like stick your arms out, and then it shoots on you.
Yeah.
But
Think about how you take a shirt off. Now do the opposite of that.
Yeah, basically.
then I'm putting it on. That's
Oh,
me.
crazy, eh?
Yeah, but it's inverted.
Yeah, so pretend you're putting it on, and that's how you take it off. And then pretend you take it off, and that's how you put it on.
I don't know, man. I don't,
It's Nolan. It means something.
yeah, that's why it can get messy when it's
Yeah.
like
Two
you start
trains
dealing with that
passing
stuff.
in the opposite directions or something.
But what about you? How'd you feel about it?
yeah. Oh, me?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're asking how I felt
yeah.
about it, but
Yeah, I mean it's our first like okay, we're explaining what's going on, and
Yeah.
and that it confused me at first. I mean, I'm not gonna say it confused me in the sense I don't understand this because she's pretty clear. She's like it's moving backwards through time.
Yeah.
and I get when they like drop it. She's like, no, you would have had to have picked it up. I'm like, okay, I get that, but I mean, it's still just like it introduces this idea, explains it, and then. But this is what I mean. I need time to like digest this.
yeah, 'cause
I-
it
it's
almost
on to the
creates
next
more
thing.
questions.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm like, because then I have this thought of like, what about my shirt? What about
Yeah.
water?
My
You have this question about water. Like you have to think, oh, okay, so if this is how it works, then this is how this could work, and in this scenario, and then, but as soon as it's over, we meet Neil, and then we're in India.
You're cooking.
Yeah.
No time to relax with
Yeah.
it. I hear what you're saying.
So
No.
It's a lot of information.
I
It's
get
a
it.
lot.
And to even go further to your point, I feel like it's one of these. It's a movie where you especially just have to like, let me just only think about everything that's important in this timeline, and not try to think too deep of it. Because I was stuck on that bullet on my first watch, where
Yeah.
I was like, so that bullet's moving back in time. What is that bullet story? Is it going back? How far back in time is it going to go?
until
what
it.
So they just
blows
found
up
that wall
or-
somewhere,
Yeah.
cut it
Yeah.
out, brought it to the thing. The bullet was already in there the whole time for
Maybe
this
it
guy
was
to
in
come.
Stalsk 12.
It could have been.
Stalsk 12. That wall.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But that's how they started to him finding Priya or whatever, because where was the bullet manufactured
Right.
and yada. So was this now him in the future laying these breadcrumbs, knowing that his past self would find them?
I think. Well, yeah, because he's the founder of Tenet.
yeah,
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's when I started thinking of that, I'm like, oh, bro, my brain.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So like thinking about it, it's cool to think about.
Yeah.
And like that's why it's something I like and don't like about the movie.
Yeah.
That's why like for a viewing experience, it's a lot.
Depends on your mood. You're not gonna put
Yeah.
this one on. Like, oh, you know what? I'm falling asleep. Let me
Yeah,
throw
exactly.
some
Oh, hell
on.
no.
It's not gonna be
Exactly.
this.
Hell no.
And that's why my second experience I feel like wasn't good because I was kind of tired, and I was like, "Oh, I wanted to show them this movie. Okay, let's watch it before we go to bed." And
And
I
you
was
were
I was
sleepy.
tired. I looked at them. I was like, "Did
Mistake
y'all enjoy
number
that?"
one.
Yeah.
They're like, "No, it was cool. It was confusing, but I
Yeah.
liked it."
What the hell did I watch?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to note in this scene.
Yeah.
So when the scientist there hands the protagonist the gun.
Yeah.
She's like,
Let's
"Oh,
just call him him.
Let's call it.
Let's
Oh,
just
he's
say
him.
him.
Okay.
He shows him.
He's him.
He's him.
Because I in my notes I could just write he does this or
So
him.
the scientist hands him the gun.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, fire it at the thing. My guy checks the thing. There's no bullets in here. I was like, good gun safety. Keep it up, John David Washington. You check that gun before you fire it willy-nilly. I like that.
Yeah.
Checks it. He's like, yeah, there's no bullets. She's like, don't worry about it. All right. Catches a bullet. Crazy. I would have lost my mind right then and there. That would have been the end of the movie. So, okay, I signed up for this witchcraft.
I mean I remember that was in the trailer. And that was enough for me to be like, I gotta see this.
Yeah,
I'm in.
100%.
Like that, and it's Nolan. I was like, I gotta see this.
And then the cars driving backwards in
Yeah,
the trailer. I'm like,
I was like,
what
I
is
gotta
going
see
It
on?
like
this.
flipped backwards. I remember that from the trailer. That one was tough.
I was like,
that was
all
dope. So then we're in India. We meet Neil for the first time.
Yeah.
He talks to Priya that he thought it was her husband. This was a
Yeah.
cool little twist.
Yeah. No, I
You better
liked it too.
rewind a little bit.
Oh, go. Hey, if I skip over something,
You better
jump right
rewind.
in.
Okay,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
He,
go on.
this is second, third watch.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go.
Sits down, meets Neil for the first time. He's like, yeah, can I get a gin and tonic and a Diet Coke for him? So, why are you ordering my drink? He's like, oh, you never drink on the job.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait, hey. Whoa. First watch, I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay, I guess he
Yeah.
does his research. He's like, oh, you do your homework. Second watch, I'm like,
He been knew
he
that
knows
guy.
him.
Yeah, that's his boy.
Partner.
That's his boy.
From
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I was like, and he's like, no, I prefer tonic. He's like, no, you don't.
Yeah. He's
I'm
like,
like, hold on a second. Okay. This is one of those ones now.
And then they just
second,
skip
third
past
watch.
it. Like, what if you were with some guy and he orders you a rum and coke or whatever? And
I'm like-
you're like, actually, I prefer gin and tonic. You're like, no, you don't. And I'd be like,
What the?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, you don't just skip over
I'm looking
that.
around and shit.
In that defense though, if some dude owed me a rum and coke, he'd be like, "Well, you're a black guy." I figured.
Hey, was this or Hennessy, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you prefer a red stripe?
Oh, goddamn.
Or
Only
a
thing I could
Heineken.
think is like they're like CIA, like secret agent type thing.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
buddy, if I'm a secret agent, how you publicly know what I'm drinking?
Yeah,
All kinds of alarm bells would have been going off
That's
for
true.
me.
No,
Anyways, that's the one thing I wanted to.
Yeah.
Just that
But
specific
at the
stuff.
same time, this was Michael Caine's contact,
Yeah.
right? So he's
true,
like,
true,
this is my
true.
contact in the CIA that's not bought off, can't be bought
Yeah.
off, or he's not corrupt or whatever. So he's, so yeah, he would have the information. I mean, I don't know about his drink order, but
Yeah.
Did it already make? Like, yeah, I guess so. Eh?
yeah.
Damn.
You know.
That would creep me out so much, bro. No, you don't. That's not your favorite drink.
But what did you think of when he goes to talk to Priya and they reverse bungee jump? That was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that was pretty.
See, that's one of those ones again in theater. Like when I hear
Yeah.
that. So, okay, fun fact. Initially, the job for not sound design, composer or whatever it was
composer.
gone to.
It's gonna be
Hans
Hans
Zimmer.
Zimmer, but
Hans
he's
Zimmer.
busy,
Hans
right?
Zimmer.
But he declined it because he was working on Dune at the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm a big Dune guy.
Yeah.
But they went with Ludwig. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, alternate universe, what would a Hans Zimmer
Ooh,
score look
soundtrack,
like?
yeah,
But
true.
so Ludwig really focused on that duality of it. So if he played his score kind of backwards, but it still
Yeah.
kind of similar feel. So when they're doing that bungee jump, you really hear that.
Yeah, it's such a
And I'm
bang.
like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
that
does
shit
go hard.
bangs.
It does go hard. It gives you like a sci-fi. It's like a sci-fi kind
Yeah,
of
for sure.
sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
no, it's
sure.
good. I like
Well, I
it.
will, especially now, like since I've started watching the podcast, it's changed a little bit how I watch.
Wow, you watch
movies.
podcasts? Appreciate that, bro.
I tune in.
You imagine? He's like, I've
YouTube,
never listened, but I
Spotify,
just
all
want to
that.
hop on.
Damn.
But watching these have helped me, I guess, change how I frame my viewing.
Yeah.
So I now, the score, the
Yeah.
cinematography, and I pay a bit more attention to these things. So I'm sitting there and movie like that, man, I got my TV, my 75-inch, my
Yeah,
sound bar.
okay.
I'm
All
All right,
cooking.
chill out, bro. Yo, what is it? There is no
You
Just
need
give
for
it the
that.
scenery.
My
You
guy
just give
said
it
he
the
watched this on the laptop, brother.
Yeah.
Try again.
Providing scenery, you need to know about the size of his TV.
75.
Get out of
Bose
here.
650
All right.
with the
That's good
subwoofer.
All
So
right.
when but the reason I say that, so when this scene's going,
Oh, you hear it. Yeah.
and my whole living room vibrating the thing, I'm like, ooh, Ludwig.
doing something to you.
You talking to me, Ludwig? Who need Hans right
Bro,
now?
the sound in this movie, it adds so much, bro. Like
yeah.
in the action, for sure, like you say, the sci-fi feel,
Yeah.
and it just like amps up the juice. And even like when they're planning their missions, and there's like they always have these cool shots, like when the camera's spinning around them, and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, we're gonna get this plane and we're gonna drive it through,
The
and
plane.
then the whole background,
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it fires me up.
No,
dude.
You know, it feels eerie, like
No,
like there's something I'm missing. Like when someone's looking at you, but you can
Yeah.
feel it, but you can't see them. It gives you that kind of uneasiness.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good note. But I agree with what you're saying, though. I do also like the little twist, like the little spot, because it's a little trope. You just assume it's the man. It's like, oh shit, it actually wasn't him. He's just like a cover.
Yeah.
So I like that little. It's just a little subtle twist. It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then we learn a little more about Tenet, and then this is what, like you mentioned, Jordan, that we find out where the bullet's made. So it's probably this Russian dude, and he's got a wife, and this is when we meet Michael Caine, actually.
Yeah.
So he didn't know about this guy yet. Oh my God, he knew his drink order and didn't even. That's okay.
Red alert, bro. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
flag should be
Yeah.
going.
He's a CIA agent. He should have been like more wary of that.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Oh well.
Because wouldn't you keep that under wraps?
Yeah. What you drink. Anyways, so then they find out about the fake drawing.
Yeah.
So we meet Kat for the first time. We learn that the fake drawing is how he controls her, and then he's like, okay, now this is where we get the plot, not the plot, but the plan that we got to steal this.
Yeah.
From the Freeport, and this is how we're moving forward. And then we get this sick ass fight in the kitchen. What do you
Yeah.
guys think of this scene?
No, I thought that the fight was good. Just the humor is hilarious.
I ordered
It's
my
like-
hot sauce an hour
Yeah, I
ago.
know.
It was so stereotypical, bro. It killed me.
Oh, that's great. Honestly, this movie, even like we didn't have to talk about it too much, but the Michael Caine cameo and like him talking and then going from that and just the way, just a little line like that, it's very James Bond. I kind of thought about that when I was watching this viewing. That was a viewing
Yeah.
perspective I didn't think about. Until, but I was like, Nolan's is a British guy. He probably was watched Bond.
Dude,
things
I
as a
actually
kid.
read about that. He's a huge Bond guy.
Okay, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he said that he didn't want to make a Bond movie.
Yeah.
But he wanted to make his own adaptation of the spy genre.
Okay, well, there you
and
go.
apparently
Like
he
ode to Bond kind of.
yeah, like kind of a
homage.
few little things that he would put in there, sprinkle in there to, like you say, pay homage or just have that feel. And apparently he avoided watching spy movies or Bond movies while making this because he didn't want to like too specifically like
To be
steal from it.
Yeah.
But he was like, I wanted to basically think whatever stuck with me from past viewings.
I wanna try
That's
to
what I wanted.
incorporate.
Because if you just watch right away, then you're like, oh, this little thing, this little thing, this little thing.
Yeah.
Where if you're like, man, that movie that I watched a couple years ago, what was really cool about it? Oh, that was really cool. Let me do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it again definitely had that feel. I don't know if it's M or Q. People, the James Bond fans, I apologize, but it like Michael Caine's is it Q? Is Q the one that
Q's
tells him?
the
Q's
gadget?
the gadget
M's
dude.
like the boss.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's the one that like, kind of tells him the plan? Is that's Q? Because that's how the Crosby like.
No, I guess that would be
That'd be M.
That'd
M would
be
be like
M?
Bond, like
That'd be
here's your
M.
mission.
Okay, so
da,
that's
da,
how
da.
it felt when he was talking to him. Like,
okay.
here's kind of your mission. This is what you're gonna do, and then this is the partner you're working
Jane
with.
Duty Dench.
Yeah, exactly.
Dame
and just the
Judi
way.
Dench. But hey,
And just-
that kind of shows our age, eh? That's if we were a little older, it would be the old white guy.
Yeah,
Or a little younger, it would be the old white guy.
yeah, that's true.
Younger.
Yeah, if you only seen the newer James Bond, M becomes
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ralph. What was it?
Ray
Ralph.
Fiennes. Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
Ray
yeah,
Fiennes?
Ray
Ralph.
Fiennes.
Ralph.
It's spelled Ralph, but I think it's pronounced Rafe.
Rafe.
Yeah, yeah.
Ralph.
Rafe. I think like
Rafe?
like you don't even say the L.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like
Yeah,
Rafe.
yeah, I know what you're
Mr. Avada Kedavra himself.
Exactly.
You know what-
Voldemort.
No, we know what you're talking about. But yeah, no, I just got that feeling, and I actually didn't know that Nolan stuff, so I guess that fits.
What do you think of the when we met
I was,
Kat
a
for the
big,
first
I was a
time?
big fan of this scene.
Okay.
So let me transition wise. So you have Michael Caine. He's like, oh, let me introduce you to my tailor. He says, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Switch scenes. My boy got the 3-piece suit
yeah.
on, show looking nice. So then he's talking to Kat or whatever, and he starts learning a bit about Seder, and he's kind of giving his backstory of how he found out about the painting, yada yada yada. And she's like, this is when she kind of realizes he's not who he's pretending to be, because she's like, if you knew this world, you knew the money that this kind of world's about, this wouldn't surprise you, kind of thing. 9-10 million, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, you got the suit, you got the watch, you got the look, but you don't know what this world's really like.
Yeah.
I was like, what, 30 seconds ago, he was calling you broke boy, come get my tailor. Now she said, hey, you dressed the part, but you don't really know what this world's about. And I think that was his first kind of indication. What is this world I'm now being brought into?
There's another moment like that. It's actually not for him. I'm not saying protagonist. Him.
Okay.
It's Neil when he goes for the tour of the Freeport, when he's learning about the fire suppression system and all that, and they learn that you can bring your items right off the tarmac. He's like right from their planes. He's like, yeah, they're private planes, and he's like, yes, of course.
Excuse me.
Because everyone else would just assume like, yeah, of course it's a private plane, right?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's just the
well,
same little
listen,
thing.
like if you're like trying to find a security firm to look after your multi-million-dollar artwork,
Yeah, no,
I feel like you're probably not on Spirit Airlines.
No, exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, you're not pulling up on WestJet, getting a Diet Coke and peanuts.
Oh my god! Can you imagine that? Oh, the blanket they gave me was so scratchy. Now to deposit my $10 million
There was a baby
painting.
behind me crying the whole flight. Oh, it was terrible, dude.
Anyways, tell me about the fire suppression system. Oh, geez.
Yeah, no, this is a great scene for sure. But this is one that on my first watch, I didn't really get what she was saying about the artwork. Like there was all this conversation about the artwork, and I'm trying to follow it, and then they're stealing it. And I'm like, why the hell are they stealing it? And then I'm like, okay, no, she appraised it as real, but it's a fake. So he bought it knowing that. So now he can send her to jail, and he can threaten her son. So all this, I was like, okay, so this is why they're going to the Freeport.
Was that on your second watch? You caught that?
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Yeah. But it's so their conversation.
Yeah,
he
no, it
just
is
walks
quick.
into that, and he's
It
there
is
for
quick.
3 minutes, bro.
You better
Talking
pay
about
attention.
I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago. You've been here 30 seconds. What are you talking about?
I love that action scene so much, though.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, even again, second, third watch makes me appreciate it more, because throughout the whole film, the protagonist, him, is very not docile but calm, in control of his emotions. You know what I mean? Like, never does he lose control. Is it like anger or violent. You know what I mean? His aggression is very calculated and cold. I have a job to do.
Yeah.
Violence is the answer to complete that job. So when you see him go through this kitchen with ferocity, my boy is beating someone with a cheese grater.
Oh yeah, that was nasty.
You know what I mean? And he's casually walking, beat someone with a cheese grater. Casually walking, smashing someone's head with plates. Like the aggression you feel from him. And then the rest of the film, he's just so even tempered, except when needed. It feels so like calculated. This is an assassin. This is a man on a mission. This is not someone propelled by emotion. Whereas like a satyr is very much the opposite. His whole mentality and expression is emotion. So it's cool to now in reflection to see that duality. But again, geez, boy, Christopher.
Oh my gosh.
He knew what he was doing.
It was a perfect setup too. Just the way it got you hyped for when you just like, he's like, I'll be okay. And you're like, okay,
that was
surprised.
tough.
I was like, what's this guy about to do? Like, this makes you sit up in your seat like, okay, we're about to see something nasty. And then it lived up. I was like, oh, this guy's got hands.
Yeah, and it was because he's calm. Like there's like 6 big Russian dudes, and like he's
Not
obviously
fazed.
in danger, and he's like totally chill.
Cracking jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Beforehand.
Cracking jokes. And then there was even this tough bar at the end because she's in the car and the guy's like, in Satyr
gets what he wants.
Satyr gets what he wants. And then he pulls up outside. I was like, oh, I guess not always.
Not always.
Shit.
And there's that James Bond moment where he fixes his
adjusts the
suit.
jacket.
Ooh,
And then to end it off, you see from her perspective, like she's in this point of depression, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's no hope.
Yeah.
And then, hey, well, hold on. Is this my like glimmer of hope? Is
Yeah.
this the silver lining?
100%.
And then you kind of see her now start to trust him a little bit and believe in him a little bit. It was
No.
nice. It was a nice
Yeah,
little
no.
introduction.
It's a good scene. It's
Hey,
a good
he's a
scene.
protagonist, all right.
It's a good scene. So then we do have Neil visiting the Freeport, getting like this tour, all the information, and we find out about the gas that comes in instead of water, right, for the fire, and they're like, you'll die if you're in here, but you have a 10-second warning, and then he says people choose us because we have no priority above your property.
Yeah.
Would you like, how do you hire employees?
Yeah,
if you're like you are not a priority above the artwork here. We will let you die
it's
before this artwork gets messed up. Like, would you work there? Would you want to work there?
It's got to be a good paycheck, I guess.
Say,
That's
you
what
must be
that's how I feel.
compensated
Yeah.
accordingly.
100%.
For your death?
Hey.
Yeah, once you die, if you die on the job, then maybe you get like an extra bonus to go
Little
towards your
insurance.
family
What
or
is that?
something.
I don't care
To your
about that.
family.
Damn.
Sure, but like, I don't want to die.
Oh, yeah.
Would little Timmy rather have 10 million or his papa? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Maybe if
you
you're not
want-
a good dad, I would assume you would want your dad to be there.
I don't know, man.
Little Timmy.
That's a good point.
I would take
though.
my dad.
That is a good point. That's I've never until this movie I've never heard of that kind of security. I was like, damn, just take the auction out of the room.
Yeah.
I assume maybe this actually exists somewhere.
I think
maybe
it-
for this exact
Probably
thing.
exactly.
You're probably right.
It's not something we're checking up on.
Yeah,
too
no,
much.
that's true.
But here's what I always wonder with villains: where do you find these goons?
That was my question too, because in the same sense, his plan is to end the world and destroy everything. Why would you want to work for this
Do
guy?
they just not know? Maybe he
probably
doesn't
don't
tell
know.
them.
Yeah, they probably don't know.
know.
'Cause it-
That
oh,
was my
man.
thought. I was like, okay, they probably don't know.
Yeah.
Mr. Sada's so
No
good.
way.
Mr. Sada gave us all a Christmas bonus this year. He's a great guy. Trying to end all of humanity and everything
Like,
that's
what
ever
the hell,
existed.
bro?
What a sicko.
I'm just imagining like a cutscene where someone's like nodding. It's like, did you hear he's gonna end the? No. That's just a rumor. That's just a rumor.
you can't.
Don't
I don't
believe
know.
that.
It's kind of wild. Nah.
Kind of a spiteful guy. I don't know what he might do it.
You hear him yelling in his bedroom in the boat every time. If I can't have you, nobody
Yeah,
can.
exactly.
That's his
Whoa,
whole.
whoa, whoa.
That's his whole mo.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make the dinner in the kitchen down the hall. You're like, fuck. He's
Yeah, that's when you nod the
beating
guy's
his
like-
wife again.
Oh yeah, that's
No red flags, eh?
no.
One thing I will note, so the actress
Yeah.
that plays her, I don't know her actual name there, if you wrote it down.
I didn't write it down.
Elizabeth Debicki.
Elizabeth, tall as hell.
Yeah.
She's 6'4".
So
6'4".
I watched this with my girl, and she stands up to say goodbye to John David Watt. He's a regular size
Yeah.
man. My girl, damn, he's short. Come on, man.
She went right for him.
Come on,
Damn.
man.
She's wearing heels every
He's standing
scene
next
too.
to a gazelle in heels, man, and it's his fault.
Yeah.
Oh, come
She's
on.
tall as hell.
Oh man, but no, I think she did a great job of showing a range of emotions.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Trapped, controlled, but then optimistic and powerful and free. You know, she kind of had her whole character arc
for
throughout
sure.
that film.
Yeah.
So kudos to her. I will say,
Her
great
arc,
job.
Her arc is great. I actually think, contrary to most Nolan movies, in my opinion, the characters and their story carries this movie over the action itself.
That's fair.
You know, I think in most, like in Inception, you know, there's Cobb, the main character, and his emotion. We don't get anything for anybody else.
Yeah.
And then the action is what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're going through dreams and all this cool stuff. But in this one, the action's good, but I think, you know, his whole his whole side of his story, like from being in the CIA, and then obviously he set up Tenet, like that whole his story is really cool. Kat being in control with Sator, and like but also fighting for her son, and but also kind of maybe a love story between both of them, because he keeps like going to do things for her, like saving her in the car
For why?
scene, and like
Risking so much.
yeah, but
For
like,
why?
but they never like actually have. They never show like a scene where they're feeling each other
Yeah,
for any
no,
reason.
for
Like,
sure.
do they love each other? But like,
Or is he just like, hey, I want to save people?
yeah,
Yeah.
like he's just doing the right thing. Kind of. It could be something like
And
that.
even
But like,
Sator got a lot of backstory.
yeah, Stater got a bunch. Neil, I mean,
See, but Neil's the one I would say they almost intentionally.
left out.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
'Cause that's
Oh,
the
for
one
sure. Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't know, right?
Absolutely.
He's from the future, I guess.
But
Technically,
but it's interesting. That's what I mean. Like
trunks, yeah.
everyone,
Compelling, yeah.
every main character, their story is actually really, really compelling, and I think that's done really well in this movie, which is opposite to most Nolan movies. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, it's true. Yeah, well, most of the time it's very much, unless you're getting like an Oppenheimer or Dunkirk, like not those kind of concept movies where you actually characters actually have like,
Well, Oppenheimer's a biopic.
yeah, no,
So
that's
it's
set in
all out
reality.
there.
Yeah,
Same
no,
with like a
that's true.
Dunkirk set in
Yeah.
reality where he's now
Yeah.
in these ones making his own kind of world and
true.
all that. You're right. Where
Or
it's like
Insomnia
a
is another one, too.
Tarantino, right? Tarantino, you know, he talks about like, I'll create this character and they'll have this whole
Yeah.
backstory, and I may not put that in the movie, but
Yeah.
I know this
Is there?
I feel like this is something Nolan may have implemented for something like this.
Yeah.
Neil may have this full fleshed out
Yeah.
story and journey that he's like he says this at one point at the end, I'll see you at the beginning or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a great analogy to the film in its sense that
No, for sure.
hey, this is the end of the line for me, beginning of the line for you, end of the movie. See you at the beginning of the movie
Yeah.
if you watch it. You know, it's very cyclical.
Because you know what's interesting about that?
Nolan.
The movie ends at the same time it starts.
Seriously?
Well, think about it, right? Because it starts at the opera
Oh, yeah,
scene.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So
Starts in
and
the
they went
op-
back to where it started.
And yeah, Michael Caine, he was like on the same day as the opera siege. There
There was
was
a
the
bomb.
explosion in Stalks 12.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
It starts and ends at the same time.
Yeah, Tenet,
Nolan.
backwards and forwards.
See, you're not picking these up on a first viewing. That's
No,
what
you're
I'm
definitely
saying.
not. You're definitely not getting on the
For
first
sure not.
viewing.
So then we do get the first break in, the plane crash, the first big action scene in the movie, the inverted fight. What'd you guys think of this?
Again, that was another one of those things too, where it's like the inverted fight. It's kind of like it's not dissatisfying. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
because it's like it's not. They're not like seeing hits. It's like a lot of just like backward movements. It's like backward flips. So it's weird. It visually looks kind of cool, but at the same time, like it also looks kind of stupid.
Yeah,
It-
like, who's
it's like
winning?
that. Yeah,
Who's winning?
exactly.
You know the
Yeah,
one where
yeah.
he's like going up the hallway, like skirting up on his elbows or whatever. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, exactly. It's definitely one of those things where it's like either someone watches it and like this is stupid as hell, or it's just like okay, it's kind of cool. There's like I feel like there's no in between. It's very much like well, I guess maybe you could be a little bit.
I'm in
I'll
between.
yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
I am in
It's
between.
very it's very strange. Certain aspects of it. Some parts
I'll
look
tell you
cool.
my opinion on it.
Yeah.
In a bubble, is it a great fight? No.
Hell no.
Like, are you gonna go
Yeah.
on YouTube and type in Tenet fight
No.
scene? Probably
Yeah.
not. In the concept of what the movie is, where you're understanding the kind of directions of time and this and that, I think it's a cool and interesting way to implement a fight scene.
Yeah.
So I think it works in the movie well. I think as an isolated fight scene, not the best fight. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not gonna go on YouTube and watch this up on its own.
I think what we can't forget here either is that this is the first time we're seeing a person inverted
Oh yeah,
in
facts.
the movie,
Eh?
like right. So we see the bullet,
Yeah.
and that's all we've seen at this point.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're like, oh, you can invert a
person.
person.
Yeah.
Like a person can be inverted. We thought it was just objects, maybe,
Yeah.
right? So like we're like, oh shit, this guy's moving backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're right, the fight's kind of wonky, but it's cool that this is our first time seeing that.
Yeah.
And then the whole plane crash that we all know was real.
Yeah.
You know, they
Crazy.
did that for sure. That's just
No,
that's
I'm into
100%.
Nolan and his
And-
practicality.
Yeah.
Just one more shout out I had for this. Well, not one more, but another shout out I have for this When the dude like unhooks all the gold, right? Because they're spilling the gold. You notice he stole one bar?
Yeah.
He took one bar and slipped it
who
in
that
his
is?
pocket.
Yeah.
What do you mean who that is?
He comes back later in the film.
Does he?
Yeah, it's that same guy that
That's
he took
Sater's
it from.
guy.
Remember when he takes the
So
bar
you know
from
how
him and just
Sater's
beats
like
him?
aware and he had the painting and all that stuff? Sater's guy was the one that stole the brick, and Sater beats him in the head with it later.
Oh,
That's the same guy.
So that's how Sater knew.
Wait, so that's Sater's gold?
I don't know.
Well,
on
no,
the
I think he
plane?
stole that gold. I think.
Yeah, but
Because
stole the
remember
one
he
bar.
busted out the painting. He's like, "Oh, I bet you thought this was destroyed."
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the thing, so I think again, pincer
He went
movement
back.
where he's from the future probably had someone take that out beforehand because he knew this was coming.
So that was the guy that stole the painting.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who stole the painting, but you see the same guy like put that brick in his thing.
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit, that's the same guy gets his head beaten in with that gold brick.
That's what I assumed. Because otherwise, I feel like Wiles showed that scene, right?
Well, I thought it was just a
Just
funny
a cool
little
little thing,
thing.
yeah,
Like,
this guy's stealing
I mean,
gold.
if I'm
That's
there,
Sater's
if I'm
guy.
gonna spill all this
Oh,
gold,
100%.
why would you
Let
not
me
take
slide a
one?
little
100%.
Yeah,
It
that's
reminds
like-
me of you remember Rush Hour 2
Yeah.
with all the fake bills or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Chris Tucker slides a
Side
couple
slide.
into his
Yeah,
pocket,
of
and later
course.
that saves his life. The opposite for this guy.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
He stole that money, and that brick is what bashed his brains.
But
in.
I didn't think that was gold. I thought, isn't that shit like plutonium or something?
It's gold bricks.
Those are gold bricks.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
I
they
think
talk
it's
about
the
like they're
gold bricks.
unmarked. Where do these gold bricks come from? Da, 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 da.
Oh.
See,
Okay.
you see that must have been when you went to the bathroom.
I still
or
have
something.
no. I still have lots of questions. Don't you?
This is
don't
a
you worry,
long
bro.
film.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I understand this movie inside and out.
buddy.
Yeah.
I don't even understand.
That's
it.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Third watch.
Yeah.
I don't think Nolan does, bro. All right, so next we meet Sater
Yeah.
for the first time on the boat, and he meets Sater for the first time. And then there's this it starts with this crazy threat. We're gonna poke a hole in your throat,
Oh, my God.
cut off
yeah.
your balls,
Yeah.
block your windpipe with the balls. Wild ass threat to kill somebody. And then we get the whole like boat scene on the yacht. What are your thoughts on this?
What a violent, visceral. My guy didn't even sit down yet. He didn't even get an appetizer. You talk about balls in his throat. Let me at least get a glass of water before you start threatening my life. You know
Well,
what
his
I mean?
first question was like, "Did you sleep with my wife yet?" He said, "No."
Not yet.
Yeah, that was pretty hard. No.
Not yet. He didn't have to do all that.
Yeah, he didn't have to do all that.
Come on.
He
He's,
did not have
he's
to
the
do that.
protagonist. He gets the girl. Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Yeah, I guess so. That didn't help his threat. Maybe he wasn't going to
didn't
threaten
help.
the balls until he said
I'm
that.
pretty sure he was.
Yeah, he probably was. Yeah. They had it set up in motion. How many
Think about
times
how
has he done
controlling
that?
he is, though.
Yeah.
You had a meeting with my girl. Nuts in throat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, he's assuming there's an affair there.
Escalation.
But still, it is very escalated. There's no proof. There's no proof.
None.
Just a hunch, so your balls must
Does
go
he
in
know
your throat.
about him yet already, though?
No, because
But
scheme
wouldn't he
of
have
things.
someone from the future telling him
yeah,
about the...
that's a good point.
Hey, sometime in the future, some nigga's gonna sit down with your wife.
Yeah.
Red alert.
Well, no, because they don't. He doesn't know because remember they're like his ignorance is our only
Yeah, that's true.
plan here, right?
Yeah.
Because then they make their partnership. He's like, I'll steal the
Painting.
the plutonium. What's the piece of the
Plutonium
algorithm
at this point, but he doesn't
He's
know
like,
it's the algorithm.
Yeah, so he's like, I'll steal this piece of the algorithm for you, but he's saying I'm stealing it and then not going to give it to him.
Yeah.
But he's telling Sater he's going to steal it and give it to him. And Sater, if he knew that he was, the founder of Tenet, he wouldn't believe that. So
Yeah.
for sure, he doesn't know that he's him.
No, for sure. Yeah, I 100% agree that.
But so then, yeah, they form the partnership. He's like, okay, do you know how to sail beyond the boat? So like, why? My question is like, why would you set a business meeting on a speedboat or whatever you call this boat?
Yeah.
They're sailing. There's water splashing in their face, and they're trying to like communicate. I'm like, why was this the meeting?
I guess he's just a wild boy. It's the things he likes to do.
The one that messed me up though is like, all right, so you want the secret meeting to talk about plutonium? They're on the headset.
Your
While they're on
girl-
the boat.
Well,
the
I
girl,
think- I
girl on
think-
the headset too.
I think her headset was maybe turned off.
But she communicated to them. She's like, oh, jibbing now or whatever sailing term. I'm like, hey man,
Yeah,
we
so
need
she
some
can
more.
talk to them, but she can't hear them.
Who set this up? This is so elaborate. You know what I mean? Like just go in another room. We didn't have to go on the
Yeah.
boat for
There-
all
there
this.
was no
Also,
reason for
if
that.
And then
we're
my girl
confused,
unbuckles it and shit.
Yeah, that's true. If we're confused, she doesn't know what the fuck they're talking. If she's someone just saying algorithm and fucking opera, she's like I don't know what these
Plutonium. No, they were
motherfuckers
talking
are
about plutonium. So imagine you're on the thing. Plutonium. Plutonium?
Yeah, she just ignores it. She's like, that's some gun, because she just thinks he's a guns guy. She's probably
Right.
like, oh, this is just
True.
some lingo for all the gun stuff. That's probably what she's thinking.
plutonium.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Is that what they're calling those new guns?
That's a good point.
That's what I assume.
Yeah.
But
You're probably right. That is a good point.
I think honestly though, I like the scene more so just because it's like, I guess it's like a nice flex just to have that in the movie. It just looks cool.
Yeah,
That's,
for sure.
it looks
Picturesque.
cooler than I guess if they just went golfing or something.
Yeah,
Which is probably
absolutely.
what they
He's
would've
rich as
been.
hell. He does whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
Like, what do you think Mark Zuckerberg does for fun? He doesn't go to Midway.
Well, he actually does similar things. He's a sailor too. I've actually
See?
seen him. Yeah.
Rich people need
Yeah.
stuff to do, bro.
Damn. Yeah, but does he take meetings on the boat?
I don't know.
That's
Why
what
not?
I'm saying.
If
That's
Mark
how Meta
Zuckerberg
started.
says, Scott, Film Rube podcast meeting, we're going on my boat, you're not gonna be like,
What do I need a meeting with Mark Zuckerberg for?
are you on drugs?
No, I'm not.
Meta,
What do I-
yo,
if Mark
our podcast
Zuckerberg
is
calls you,
sponsored
talk
by
about let's
Meta.
have a meeting, you better shut the hell up, go to the meeting, bro. What the hell?
Film Room podcast sponsored by Meta, yo.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Set your aspirations
Hey,
correctly, bro.
I got to learn how to say it.
You know what, Mark? Never mind. What do you want with this podcast?
That was actually one of my points, though, is like, you're right. Visually for the movie, I have no problems with it. It looks
Yeah.
cool. Because that was one of the things that I didn't even remember, like, how visually nice this movie is.
Oh,
a nice
yeah.
movie.
Like, dude, we get the locations of India. There's a lot of time spent on yachts, the
Yeah.
windmills in the ocean, the freighter ship that's going by, and we see like birds moving backwards. Like,
Opera House at the beginning.
yeah, so like visually,
opera
there's
house.
actually, and even Stulse 12, like it looks cool.
Yeah.
like
No,
it
it really
like
does, yeah.
the visually, the locations that they set on is really good. Maybe the backwards movement doesn't look good, but
Yeah.
but
In
location wise,
moments.
it looks good.
In moment, I think a lot of the good moments will, and we'll also get to it in the ending scene. There's
Yeah.
a lot of cool reverse
Yeah,
shots in that.
for sure,
I think
for
that's
sure.
when it works the best. Fighting stuff and like people moving sometimes looks goofy, but like
The seagulls.
Yeah.
You ever seen the seagulls when he comes up from the turnstile for the first time?
Yeah.
And the seagulls going backwards. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's when you have people moving forward and backward in the same thing. Because if it's just someone moving backward, you could easily just shoot a reverse.
Yeah.
But like sometimes it looks a little bit wonky. But
Yeah.
I mean,
How
to
do
be
you do
fair,
it?
Yeah. How can you do it
No,
any better?
exactly.
So I don't have any complaints about that. So then we get the highway scene.
Yeah.
They steal the plutonium. I thought it was okay. What did you think?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like
Okay.
it was cool. It kind of made me think of like it kind of gave me thoughts of like like Dark Knight when there's like all like the street scenes, or even like in Inception. There's all like these like elaborate like street scenes that he has in his movies, or these big like set pieces in the streets. Kind of made me think of that. But it was okay. I don't have like great like any major points on it.
Yeah. You, Jordan?
this was another one for me. Score was so
Yeah.
big on this one. So as they're coming on the highway, all this music starts hitting. You're like, okay, like where's it going? Some cars are moving forward in time. Some are moving backwards in time.
Yeah.
They have this boxed in. He's using the fire truck with the ladder to get into the nuclear thing. He thinks this is a bomb. But that regular police officer was there. I don't know if that bothered anyone else. You
do you mean?
see
Oh,
four
sorry, go ahead.
trucks
Yeah.
boxing in another truck on the highway. Someone's on a ladder going into the truck, and you're just in your police car like, oh, geez, that looks weird, man. Oh, someone should do something about that. That's weird. Yeah.
Someone should call the authorities.
Ludwig, that's us. It just took them so long to get oh, you know what? I had my Ferris Award. Hold on, let me put that one tentative. Now that I'm talking it through a little bit. It pissed me off a little bit.
Hey,
You
you
better
got,
do
you got
something.
time to decide.
I got time to work on it. You better
can-
goddamn do something.
You can change your award. We haven't gotten there yet.
I would like to think if my local police detachment saw something like that going down,
They would act.
Yeah.
listen, here's the thing. They're people. I'm not
Yeah,
saying you
no,
got to jump in there and be
100%.
a hero.
Yeah.
Call it in.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
So at least buzz it in.
Yeah.
Hey, Unit 212 here.
Yeah.
Black man. And don't forget they're in Europe or wherever they are. Black man jumping from car to car. That right there, National Guard. You know what I mean? What are we doing here?
National. Jesus Christ.
We have a black jumping from car to car on the highway. Calling the army.
Get in the choppers.
Get the snipers. Something's afoot here.
So then they get to the inverter.
Yeah.
Sater, we have this scene with Sater and Kat. They're inverted.
Yeah.
And he's like blackmailing him with like the gun to Kat's head. They have this whole back and forth, inverted, not inverted. This was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I thought it was
You
really
thought so
cool too. Apparently, Nolan actually had them learn how to speak actually backwards. They didn't just
Yeah.
reverse the audio.
That's insane.
That's
That
too
is-
much. The only time I could do that is Missy Elliott.
Oh,
It's
Is
your
your
formidable plan.
yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got in backwards.
That was good. But yeah, no, that is wild though. I thought the scene was good, but when I read that afterwards, I was like, damn, that's insane.
Yeah. No, you're right. That is weird. But the scene is really cool. I think the way he's threatening Kat to him, but like, again, do they love each other? Like, is there a relationship there? So like, does this necessarily mean anything to him?
Yeah.
Right. I guess he saw, because this is after the chase. So he saw in the car that he went back for her, and that's how he gets captured. And then she gets shot by the inverted bullet, but she's also inverted, right?
Yeah.
When they're in the car the first time. Like she has the mask on.
Well,
the oxygen mask.
because at this point, so when she gets shot with the inverted bullet, they're like, "Oh, this is the worst thing ever."
Yeah.
But if you're inverted and you get shot by an inverted bullet, isn't that just normal?
Being regular shot.
Yeah, like it's obviously still getting shot, but isn't that?
It sucks.
Well, I guess she wasn't inverted at that point. Because remember, she was wearing the mask when she got shot. So
Which means she's inverted.
She's inverted.
I thought it was the opposite.
No,
because she's on the inverted side.
Yeah.
No, it's
But
the same world. Like you
no,
just
no,
go in the
no.
turnstile, come out the turnstile.
No,
inverted.
Dion's right actually, because but there's that seal, right? Because he gets in right after this, he inverts himself, and then they're telling him, you have to wear this mask and heat goes backwards, and like they're telling him all this stuff, and then the door opens, and then he's outside. And if you think about
John
it,
David Washington.
yes, the protagonist,
Him.
And then if you think about it as well, because in the car, the highway scene, when Sater has the mask and he has the gun to Kat's head, she doesn't have a mask on. So
She's regular at that point.
That's what I mean.
He's inverted.
So she's regular. He pulls her into there. So she is regular. She's
and his
not
past
inverted.
self is back there waiting still
Where?
at that turnstile for
No,
him to
he
come
then-
back with all the information. Because remember, he watches himself come out, and then they
Yeah.
both go in at the same time, and then there's no one there.
Yeah, that shit confuses me.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's where it gets me.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
I thought I got it. Yeah, it's with the mask. You're trying to make sure like
Yeah.
this person's going. So the mask means this. They made it really simple at the end with like the colors and stuff. Where I was
Right.
like, okay, I get
Beautiful.
who these
Right.
people are.
Love that.
But then friggin' Neil had to ruin it by inverting
Yeah,
himself.
I know.
Now I'm like, you forwards or back. But
Yeah.
one thing that messed me, he is risking so much for one shorty you
Yeah,
just
no, it's
met a
true.
week ago. We're
100%.
talking about the end of days, brother.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't really feel like he likes her. It almost feels like she's a civilian. She doesn't need to be in this world. I just want to save her, just like on some like superhero shit. But it doesn't feel like that's my Gwen Stacy or anything, or that's my
Yeah.
married. It doesn't feel like it really doesn't feel like he likes her like that. It feels like I just need to save this person because that's what I do.
I
kinda
honestly
thing.
get the feeling that she likes him.
Oh
But
really?
he doesn't like her.
I didn't
He's
see.
just
I
a
didn't
hero.
see-
But
I didn't
there's-
even see her like him, to be honest.
I don't have. Yeah, there's no like moment where I can point to. I don't know. It's
You
just
just
like
feel just a feeling,
a
Yeah, it's
vibe, I
fine.
guess, you know, I was getting a
I get
vibe.
it. I see that more so like closer to the end, but
Yeah,
at
that's
the
what I
other
mean.
point, she
That's
didn't
what I
give a
mean.
damn. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
you might die. These guys are probably gonna kill you, and that's whatever. This happens all the time.
You're right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
But I think like when she's then noticed all the stuff that he's doing, like I think that kind of had an effect on her. But I could be wrong. They get the inverter. Yeah, she gets shot. So then now they have to go to Oslo to go back to the Freeport to get to the other inverter.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, Sater had control of this just a few minutes ago. So like it's so crazy. I'm like, well, you have the thing right here. Why don't you just use it? But no, it's true. If you go in inverted, then he's gonna have it after 10 minutes or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. Pretty cool.
No, it is.
Makes you think.
He inverts himself, and then we get the scene of him inverted driving through the highway, and this is where it really starts to get a bit wonky.
Yeah.
When he steps up for the first time, and he's walking to the car, and and he's moving like a robot.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously he was doing this backwards.
yeah.
And then they shot it
Yeah.
like they played it forward, so like. You could tell why it looks wonky, but oof, it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Because this is where we see that seagull for the first time.
Yeah, and he
You see,
steps in the
s-
puddle.
The smoke's
Yeah.
coming from like there's like a stack of something. It's like dust. I guess
Oh,
the
yeah,
wind
it's
is
just
blowing, but it's
moving.
going backwards towards
Yeah.
the thing. You're like, I get it.
Yeah.
To me,
very
it's
in your
mostly
face.
him walking.
That
Yeah.
look when he
Yeah.
stepped
It
in the
looks a
puddle
little
is what did
wonky,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But the thing also with me is that like I understand like things moving in like backwards with the cars, but to me it's just like the car thing is even in itself is kind of strange too. Just the concept of it. And then even like when he's like in the car, like now I'm kind of jumping back when they have like the broken mirror, and then the car hits it going backwards and it fixes the mirror.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
He didn't notice that?
yeah, what?
Like he didn't notice that it was broken?
Yeah. That's what I was
Is the
thinking. I was like the
car
whole time it was broken.
inverted.
The
Is the car regular?
the car that he's driving when he's inverted
Yeah.
is inverted.
Now, how did they fit the car through the
Through
turnstile?
Ooh, maybe it's not inverted.
Then how's he drive it? You know what I mean? I
That's
don't
a
know.
great point. How did they invert the car? Maybe they
Is
they
it a
took
regular
it apart.
car?
No,
And
they
then
took it apart.
Piece by piece.
Yeah, piece by piece through the thing.
But 20 minutes ago, Kate, what's his name? Sater owned this. So did they bring the car pre-inverted? Or did they then break the car? You know,
I never thought of that. That's
Christopher
a great
Nolan, baby.
question. How
shut
did
your
they
mouth
invert
and
the car?
enjoy the ride.
Yeah, basically.
He going backwards, bitch.
Damn.
Basically.
Or is it a regular car? But then is he supposed to
I
be
feel
in
like
reverse?
it's got to be inverted. No, because the car like flips on the highway backwards. It's
Yeah.
got to be inverted.
Is that because he's in it? I don't know how it
No,
works.
no. That cannot be.
Yeah, you invert things
I'm
around
driving
you.
the
Yeah,
car
no, that's not how it
backwards,
works.
but it's forwards to other people.
No.
Is he doing one of these down the highway?
No, that's not what we see him driving normally. What are you talking about? That's not what he's doing.
Is that him putting the car in reverse, driving it forwards?
In reverse, driving it forwards.
He's going backwards.
So he's not driving it forwards.
For us.
Nah, I stopped it. Nah. We literally see him
you shoulda
looking
had
out
him
the windshield. That means he's
backwards.
going forward.
In time?
No, in
You should have had a
physical
red
space.
band or a blue band or something else.
Yeah, you're right.
Is the car a red band or blue band? I don't know.
But and then so he gets flipped over. So his past self notices himself in the car, gives him the piece of the algorithm. But Sater also notices him. This was a cool little twist as well. And then Sater lights him on fire.
Damn.
This
Blows up the car.
This was sick.
Yeah.
This was sick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just the fact that there was an explosion, then it immediately turned into ice. I'm like, oh, everything's reversed like that.
Yeah.
Like that was sick.
You're right. It was cool, and like the fact that he wakes up later and he was like, "Oh, you're the first one to get hypothermia from a burning car." That
Does
was
Sater
cool.
not know that though?
That's what
I guess.
Okay,
Well,
You've been doing
these
it.
are my-
This is your world.
These are my
bro.
couple questions. I was like, first of all, he should know this. Second of all, how does inverting something time wise mean that temperature changes?
The explosions happen backwards? How does it?
How does that make it cold? Now, obviously, it's not real.
They
Yeah,
explained it
no,
at some
exactly.
point though.
But
They
there's-
say something.
Well, because the girl says she's like heat is different. So if you get burned, you'll freeze.
Yeah.
So she says this, but she doesn't explain. Like to me, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They're just hand waving it away. kinda
Yeah, like
thing.
and again, it's not a huge beef because it's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's
right?
a time travel movie. So at the end of the day,
Exactly.
you're kind of just
I
like,
appreciate
well,
that came back though. Like they brought it up early on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if it's hot, it'll be cold.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, thanks.
But I was
Yeah.
like,
and then later on, I'm like,
How?
hey,
Yeah, there you go.
she said earlier.
but if you go back in time, you don't get frozen. Like,
But you would get colder?
temperature doesn't. No, that doesn't.
It would get-
Temperature has nothing to do with time.
It would. Well, hold on.
What does time have to do with
Listen.
temperature?
You ain't got no physics degree. I don't want to hear about this from you.
I don't. You're right. I don't.
I don't know
This is
how
why
it
I'm
works.
asking the question.
Yeah.
If it go from cold to hot, go backwards. What happened?
It went from hot to cold.
There you go.
But it wasn't. But
He
it
had
wasn't
the fire
frozen.
before,
So
yeah.
it would go
It
from
was a
room
fire.
temperature. It would go from room temperature to
cold.
hot. Hot going backwards would go back to room temperature, not freezing.
No, you're not. You're
That doesn't make
misunderstanding.
sense.
The temporal loop.
I got nothing for this.
Okay, thank you.
I
I'm
got
not
nothing
crazy.
for
Jordan's
you.
just talking bullshit.
It's inverted.
You're actually okay.
I'll make this a clip.
color
and people
is-
will
what
trash us
color-
on it. How do you guys not know all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
all
What
the
color
psych
is fire?
majors? What color is fire?
Yeah. So if you put
can
it,
be blue.
So if you invert it the other way, what color it go?
But I thought we were to do with time. Go to the next thing.
Yeah.
Go to the next thing.
So then we learned about the grandfather paradox because I had a question about this. So
Yeah.
if you kill your grandfather, if you go back in time, kill your grandfather, how could you have been born to do it? Which is an interesting paradox and had me thinking. But that also doesn't explain, and they do explain later on. But I still have the question about like, why do the people in the future want to kill the people of the present? Because they said the oceans rose and like it was pollution and
Yeah.
we killed everything. But if you go back in time and kill us,
Doesn't that kill you?
well, that's what the paradox
big
is.
question.
But if it doesn't, so they believe no, it's
Yeah.
not going to kill us. But if that's the case, and you believe that going back won't affect you today, how would it affect the oceans rising?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If it's not going to affect you as a person, but it's like it's got to be one or the other. It can't be both. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true. Because they're just assuming that everyone will be gone, but the planet will still be there, and it will just. Yeah, I don't know why.
Is that their goal when they say they're gonna reverse entropy the world? Is it to undo like the sea levels rising and
Yeah,
deforestation? Is that the goal?
So they said the people of the future, like they want to survive, but they want to kill the people of the past, like their grandfathers, right? Like the grandfather paradox. Kill them so that we as in me in the present time, we don't pollute and, deforest and all
I
this
thought
stuff.
of it differently. I thought of it.
But that's
They were
what they
trying
say.
to. No. But I took it as like they want to reverse the world in the sense that like deforestation would undo, like raising sea levels would undo. You know what I mean? I thought they were actually trying to like reverse the world.
Oh, like go back.
You know what I mean? So before there was like deforestation or before there was, you know what I mean? That's what I thought they were trying to do by destroying the old people. Well, it's just ours then because there's no past to be living in.
Oh, so then we just take it over.
That's what I thought they were trying to do.
Oh, shit. That actually is a good plan. That's not a bad plan.
I see what you're saying, but then time would still be inverted. So it.
But if they have the master algorithm, hey, rewind it. Okay, we're good now.
Flip it in reverse.
But how do you then flip it and reverse it if everyone's dead?
They would have the.
How do you put that thing down, flip it and reverse?
Hey, it's your from manipulating plan, yeah.
You're right. I forgot about is your big yeah.
But that's what I was wondering. So if say we're in this world now where they have the ability to backwards
all
time.
of us,
So the people that died, if they didn't destroy the past, would they come back to life? You know what I mean? Like here's where I think a little of that hand waving kind of stuff goes on.
These
I
are
don't know
just
if that was
questions
like
that I
cool.
brought
Yeah,
up.
no, it's not bad
I'm not
questions.
saying like, but honestly, like the fact that there's so many of them is, I think, a reason why some people don't like this movie. Like, there is a certain clearance, that you allow for movies. You're like, it's a movie, it's a sci-fi movie. I get it. It doesn't have to all be real and make sense. I get it. But when you have so many of these questions over and over, like at some point you kind of be like, okay, this is a lot.
Yeah.
No, I agree. What's hard about sci-fi, but when it's like modern to a degree. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a Star Wars or Star Trek where there's like fast future technology, whatever. Like it's modern stuff. Okay, well I know how a car works. Why is car going backwards and explode?
But
You know
to
what I
me,
mean?
it's not even the technology; it's the concept. Like
of time.
Yeah, well, just the idea. Like I said, if they come and kill us, but that doesn't affect them being dead, how would that then affect the deforestation? That just.
Well, even
I
Neil
don't get
says it. Like Neil's, like the people in the future, I guess, are banking on the fact that it won't destroy time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a bold assumption to be making. What if y'all are
But
wrong?
I think the point is that they've been pushed to this. Like
they
like
have no other option.
Yeah, they have no other option. Like the oceans are taking over, and like with the planet's dying, this is our only shot.
Yeah, it's only shot.
I guess. And then I think I don't know if it's Neil or no, it's the protagonist that says it. He's like, well, isn't the fact that we're here now
I mean, it doesn't
proof
work.
that we succeeded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? I guess.
That's always the thing with
Don't
time
ask me,
movies
bro.
because like every time movie's got its own kind of theory and its own kind of like rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like if you you go to the MCU, it's like there's branches. If you do one thing, then you just turn to another branch. Like they said, like this is our rules, and if we do something in the past, then it's fine. So sometimes you just have to. I accepted it because I was just like, this is their version of what time travel is. Because no one could be like, no, that's not how time travel works. Like no one can say.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can say whatever.
Idiot,
yeah,
that's not how
yeah,
it works.
exactly. So you can do whatever you want with it. So I kind of just accepted it, even though it's like. I don't really understand how that works, but I guess that's how time travel works in this universe.
Fair enough.
You allow it.
Yeah, fair enough. So then we go back to the airport, and we have the inverted airport scene. So we see the same fight from the other perspective, and we're like, okay, so he was fighting himself.
Yeah.
Another cool twist, and then we learned that like Neil was chasing him and saw that it was him. let him
I thought that
go.
was. I like that.
This
too,
was a
yeah.
cool. I remember on my first watch, I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
snap!"
it's like that's why he let the guy go and just threw it at him, and that's why he stopped him when he was trying to shoot him. Like,
Right.
It's like yo, and I was like, why are you stopping him? And now it's like,
we need to know what he knows.
Yeah.
But then on second watch, you're like, oh,
Yeah, that's you, dog.
shiesty.
Yeah, that's you.
Don't shoot yourself, bro. But you guys like the scene
Yeah,
too?
no,
Like,
I
but
liked it.
This was another wonky one. Like when they're walking with Kat across the tarmac, and they're like they're just the way
Does
they're
no one
moving
notice
is
that?
so
Yeah.
wonky and weird, bro. Like because they're obviously doing this backwards because we see water come back into the hose from the firemen and
Yeah.
everyone else moving backwards, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I guess there's just so much going on. There was a huge explosion, so you wouldn't notice. I guess
and the chaos,
these weird
yeah.
things
Walking
going on.
backwards.
That's how you like. you go. It's not like guys were just walking, doing their regular routine stuff, and these guys are just doing their weird backward shit.
what is
They're
that?
Like, whatever. I don't get paid enough, and just move on.
There's a million gold bars right here.
Yeah,
Let me just
exactly.
grab a couple of those.
Exactly.
Don't
Why is
ask
that
so
guy
many
running
questions.
backwards while I have this
Yeah,
pound
they
of
probably
gold?
think they're b-boys or
ask-
something, fucking
yeah.
dancing in the street or some shit.
There was one part in this scene that
Jabberwockies.
killed me that I feel like very rarely do we think about like the casual person that's like
Yeah.
not in the cast, just, living their life in this
Yeah.
world. The poor ambulance driver that's just sitting in his ambulance.
Gets
The
knocked
protagonist knocks on the thing. He pops it. Oh, like who's knocking on my? Knocked out.
Yeah.
Dragged out of his ambulance. I'm like, my guy's just trying to do his 9 to 9 shift.
Did he even have to knock him out?
Probably
Couldn't
not.
Like, couldn't he just be like
Yo, get out.
CIA? Like, yeah.
I'm commandeering your vehicle. No, sleeps him.
He's like, nah, let me just punch you in the throat real quick.
Here's my guy responding to an emergency, just doing his job.
Right.
Ah, babe, you won't believe
We
it.
didn't die or anything. You know?
Yeah,
You
but
don't know,
still.
he
Buddy,
killed him.
imagine going to your 9 to 5 and someone just knocks you out.
Damn.
You wake up, he's gone. You don't know what's happening. Your jaw's swollen.
Well, I mean, there was just a giant plane that just got driven into the hangar. That's not even making the front page.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one. Yeah, no one
Yeah.
cares.
You go to your manager, man, like someone not brother. Do you
Brother,
see that
I
airplane?
don't- you are so low on the priority list. I don't care that you got punched. Are you kidding me? Look outside. HR doesn't give a shit about
Yeah,
you
that's
right now, bro.
Millions of dollars of gold bricks on the floor right now.
Yeah.
You're talking about your jaw.
Yeah.
Get,
Get
out
up.
of here. Get out of here. 100%.
Get a broom. Get back to work.
And then he meets up with Priya again. And the thing I noticed now that we're in the future, she's talking about Oppenheimer, right?
I
She's
know,
bringing
I
up the
clocked
whole
that
Oppenheimer
too.
thing. And then, so obviously this is something that Christopher Nolan had in his mind,
Yeah.
right? Like this whole idea of Oppenheimer and how interesting of a story his was. And so it's cool that he slid this into his movie and then 2 years later made a whole biopic about it.
Yeah. Apparently, Patterson gave him the book like on set.
Oh, cool.
Because he's like, oh, you seem to like Oppenheimer, so read this book, and that's the exact book he used for like to
Crazy,
make
eh?
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a line. Like they
was a
were
lot.
talking about
Yeah,
Oppenheimer for a
yeah.
little minute or two there. So it was like,
Yeah.
And I think it was 2-3 years later he made
2 years.
Oppenheimer.
Well, this came out in 2020. Oppenheimer was 23.
So we would have been working on it
Yeah,
literally that
100%.
next year. Like as soon as Tenet was finished, you're probably like, hey, you know what?
This
Call
guy
up-
was
call
kind
up
of
Cillian
cool.
Murphy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you think
What's Cillian doing right now?
you think Patterson's low key kind of tight though?
I was literally just thinking that because you
Like
said
I gave you the book and you didn't even get a role.
you didn't even give me nothing in the movie.
Damn.
As
no.
soon as you said that, I
Yeah,
thought the
he,
same thing. Poor guy,
He
man.
was doing Batman.
But still,
That's true.
he
Because
could've
remember,
got-
he was on the set of Tenet,
Oh, yeah,
left
that's
to
true.
go do the audition for
true.
Batman, came back, and Nolan was like, you auditioned for Batman, didn't you? He's like, how the hell does he know that?
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, I didn't know
Pattinson tried to like secretly audition for Batman, and Nolan clocked him. He was like, you auditioned for Batman, weren't you?
Why is that illegal? Like, why is that so?
everything Batman runs through Nolan still.
Yeah. You're gonna be in a different Batman movie? How dare you?
No, and it wasn't even like on some like, I caught you slipping
No,
shit. It was
yeah,
just like, hey,
just like, I know.
I
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
It's good for you, but he was encouraging. Pattinson was saying like Nolan was encouraging of,
Okay.
of the opportunity.
Yeah.
So hey, you weren't in Oppenheimer, but I
Oppenheimer.
take my own.
But you're right. He could have got like just a little.
That's what I mean.
Little cameo.
just
A little cameo. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah, just
You're
like a little bit of civilian something like.
Is
you
that
know
his
what I mean?
first Nolan appearance? Is he in anything else? Pattinson?
That's the only
Pattinson?
thing.
I don't think so.
No, that's the only thing.
Yeah,
There's a big role in this too. This
For
is
sure.
The only thing. Yeah.
for sure.
I'd say that's secondary protagonist.
Oh, well, I'd say Kat. Honestly,
Yeah, more than Neil, you would think.
she's in it more.
Is she?
I feel like she
debatable.
is.
She has more of a
Debatable.
character arc
Yeah.
Yeah,
than Neil.
but like you said, they purposely kind of keep that.
Yeah, that's
But-
true.
And then we get the final scene. So we get to Stalsk 12.
Yeah.
The nuclear hypocenter. Kat is on the yacht simultaneously. They have this thing. My question is, what did you guys think of the plan? Right. So they're gonna go remove the algorithm,
Yeah.
let him kill himself, and blow the whole thing up. I think like that. I think is a good plan. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
But my question is like, for Sater and his side, why do they have to blow it up? Is that how the algorithm works? You explode it, you put it all together, and then blow it up, and that's how it activates. Like,
I believe the plan from the future was for
Okay.
him to bury it so that they could find it
and
in the
use it?
future. Yeah.
But didn't they?
But he himself decided, fuck the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
gonna end the world myself.
Because I'm gonna die.
Because
I have
I'm gonna die.
cancer.
But at the same, so then how do you activate this thing?
He had it set to his heart or whatever, like his heartbeat.
Yeah,
So
but
when he
what
died,
happens? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
is,
fair
there's
enough.
not like
They
a
don't
button
really
that,
talk
you know what
about
I'm
it.
saying?
They don't really
Like-
talk about it.
Okay. Okay.
They don't
No,
say like,
fair
oh,
enough.
you know, and then the initiation sequence starts, and you know, they don't really get.
But then
into
why did it have to be in the hypo center? Couldn't he have just done it on his yacht?
Well, you wanted to have that last moment.
I think it's he wanted to end it where it began, symbolic.
Yeah, but
cyclical.
But that doesn't. Why?
Tenet. Nolan.
You know, like
This
if
guy just keeps saying no.
like, I thought that.
That's how you explain it.
Nolan.
Like I feel like the whole they do it. They go through all this trouble to get it to the hypo center, blow it up. You're right, so that it's buried, so that the future they know where it is,
Yeah.
and they can go get it. That makes sense to me. But if he's then like, fuck that, I just want to end it all right now. Why then do it at the hypo center? What's the point of that?
I think okay, fair enough. So here's my thought process as I walk through this.
Yeah,
he has to hide it from the future that he's going to do something different.
but he's
Otherwise, they
ending
would
the
know.
world anyways. Why does the future matter?
Well, at this point, we assume back to what the protagonist says. We're assuming it never happened because they're still here, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the future's logic being it hasn't happened yet, so we're still here.
Yeah.
We still know what's happening in the past. So until he actually ends time, I guess this is one of those ones. I don't know. We better figure it out.
I got nothing for you.
All right, fair enough. Hey, this is just why I
I
presented
thought he
the
was just being
questions,
cute
but-
and wanted to do it in the same spot. You know,
It's one of those like Pattinson says, like, we don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
It's like,
all
oh,
right.
well, won't that end everything? Well, that's a great question, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna find out, aren't we?
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for pointing that shit out. Wouldn't that be nice to know?
What did you guys think of the whole big final action scene?
I kind of teased it earlier when I was saying I feel like the reverse stuff can look wonky sometimes,
Yeah.
but with the like explosion of the buildings, like the one where the top of it exploded and then it came back together and the bottom exploded, I was
Yeah.
like that looked
That was
tough.
That was sick.
yeah, that was tough. And I think that part, it was another one of those scenes where I was like, okay, we're getting a bunch of action. It's kind of like the same thing as the beginning where we're getting a bunch of action. And parts of it, I was like, okay, I'm trying to keep track of like what they're doing here. At least on the first viewing, I was like, okay, this is their plan. They're kind of doing this kind of thing. And I thought it looked cool. And I liked the scene when they were in the spot, when he's trying to stop the guy, like that little stopping him. I thought that was like, it was like a good fight and action scene.
Okay.
What were you?
All I could think the whole time this was going down, imagine how stressful it would be to be one of those soldiers. Just forward bullets is stressful enough.
Yeah.
Bro. Now I got to worry about this rock going back up onto the building that it blew up from.
Like the
30
dude that gets sucked into the wall.
Yeah,
awful.
oh
my
my
Like, how are you supposed to be preparing for that? Like, I can look up, okay, I see guys shooting up there, but how am I supposed to be ready for this wall might come back into this wall over here? How do you prepare for that?
You don't.
That is so stressful. That poor, like you're saying, that guy that got sucked into that wall.
Oh my
poor guy. Like, what do you do?
He just got obliterated.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine now just I'm in a wall.
Like you just no, because think about it. When the wall is moving backwards, right? So when the wall is full and whole, he wasn't in there. So
He is now.
That's what I'm saying. So when it comes back, all the molecules go to the exact same spot. So he would have just like been annihilated.
I
like
picture
he would cease to exist.
You remember Star Wars?
You know what
Han
I'm
Solo
saying?
when he gets stuck in that frozen in that.
Yeah.
That's how I picture Buddy who's sitting in that rock. Just
See, but you're picturing he's still like a human.
But
there's
in
no
pieces.
space for him in there.
yeah, he gone.
He's gone, bro.
Which is probably for the best. That's probably like
True.
You didn't feel anything.
Yeah, you're
the
just dead.
reverse bullets to me. I didn't even think
Awful.
about really that anxiety of like you're looking around like is there any bullet holes around where you have
Right.
to watch for that bullet's gonna come back into it or whatever.
Was
like,
that from a
that
regular
was-
direction bullet? Was that
That's
from
what
a
I'm
hey? What's
saying.
that? What's that bullet hole in that floor
It's like,
right
oh,
there?
why
Let
is
me
there
walk
smoke
around
on it?
that.
And then you turn, then boom, it's through your head, through your heart, through your ass. Like,
I don't know. And then I got
That's
team on
crazy.
my side. Well, these guys are going forward and those guys are going backward, but they didn't tell me about Timmy over there with the rocket launcher. Well, what's happening? I don't know.
Yeah. That double explosion was cool though, and that was practical too.
oh, really?
So apparently how they did it was they built two miniature buildings.
Okay, miniatures.
Two the same. They blew one up at the top, one up at the bottom, matched the frames up, and then a little bit of CGI just to clean up a little bit of like overlapping rubble or
That's still tough.
You know what I mean?
That's still tough.
Yeah, no, it does look really good.
Like they were really good with the practical effects in this one.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like
That's
back to
Nolan.
that highway chase scene. Like that
for
was
sure.
real nice. This building exploding. Like even the like Stalls 12. Like you were saying before.
Looks
like
cool.
it looked cool.
Yeah.
For
Like
sure.
when you see those big stone arches they have at like the front of this compound, I guess.
Yeah.
Just shows you the pure scale of it all. And then
yeah.
there's like a town in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's this urban warfare going on. It escalates so quick. It looks so good.
Oh no, it looks really good.
For sure. You said you liked when him and his boy, they were down in the like hypo center in the front and they're talking to him through the walkie-talkie through the door. My biggest question is when they ran down there, they had guns, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't they all have like assault rifles?
Yeah, they all have guns,
stuff?
right?
Yeah.
So when the guy's there, he's setting up the algorithm, putting it in there. Why don't they just shoot him?
They still need to get the algorithm, I guess.
But he's setting it up.
Maybe they're worried that if they shoot, they might like, I don't know, hit something and make something fall or like, I don't know. That's a good question. Actually.
To me, I was like, kill this dude. He's about to end the world. What are you doing?
maybe conveniently they ran out of bullets once the they got done.
I don't. You know what I was thinking about the whole time that was happening? Not even like, oh, like how can they get out? I was like, these are strong ass walkie talkies. My boy talking to homie on the boat.
Yeah,
He's underground. This is some DeWalt. I don't know what brand this is, but he's
he's a billionaire. He's a billionaire.
Yeah,
so they got
he's
the
and Starlink or something. I think is what it
Yeah,
is.
get the
This is
best.
Elon Musk in another timeline.
100%.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Right.
whatever Zuckerberg's got, because he's got like a bunker. I'm sure he's got walkies that could talk to us from his bunker right now.
Yeah, he could talk to space, bro.
Yeah, you
probably.
out
He'd
here
been
phone
talking
calls
to
with
Martians.
Mars.
Yeah.
Well, he is a Martian.
Oh, is he?
Groundbreaking.
Oh, shoot. You heard it here first on the Fill the Room podcast.
The three of us are missing next week.
Hey, we don't post on X, so we're good.
Good point. Good point. So like when they Neil is there, right? So he's the one that unlocks the door and does this, and he inverts himself. He saves them, but so then he has to invert himself again to do that.
Yeah.
To go save him, and we understand he's gonna die now. But how does he know that he's the one down there?
I think he put
Unlocking the door?
when he was like, what's it, Aaron Taylor?
Oh, he
what's his
saw
name?
the
He's like-
guy
He's like,
set the-
aren't I the best lock pick on the
Oh,
team?
yeah.
Where
I
he's
forget
like, yeah,
his
you are.
name.
He's like, so I could have been the only one that could have unlocked that lock, eh? He's like, yeah, it's you. He's like,
You're right.
yeah,
You're right. You're right.
He's like, I know, I got to do it.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's tough.
But yeah, so that like kind of final scene with the three guys, the three amigos. This was
Yeah.
these were like three boys just like catching up. This was a dope scene. I like this one.
No, it almost felt like a Mexican standoff at one
Yeah.
point when they're all just like, I guess someone's gonna have to die, and they're like, and he's like, well, you can choose
He's
when
like,
you
when
want to
each
kill
man
yourself,
tries to
whenever
kill
you're ready.
himself.
Yeah.
But I honestly didn't realize until this watch that was Aaron Taylor Johnson. I had no idea.
He's
Yeah, 'cause
big body now. He's
Yeah.
a swole military man.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. I was like, oh shit, look at this. Look at Craven. You know? This is Craven's origin story. That's what he's going off to do. He's going off to be Craven.
Craven is not doing well in
Yeah.
Peters right now.
No, I have no interest in seeing it.
Well, now
And
that
I
I've
have a
seen
movie
it,
podcast.
Yeah.
some have said it's worse than Madam Web.
I don't believe that.
That's a bold
don't
bold
believe that.
claim.
Damn.
I don't believe
You'll have to watch it and let us know.
Yeah.
Anyways, all that to say, this scene was tearing at my heartstrings.
Oh yeah.
When my boy realized this was the sacrifice he had to make, and
Yeah.
you see the protagonist recognize like, I'm losing this person. I'm now kind of growing a fondness for.
Yeah.
But you have the kind of bittersweet noting that like this is the beginning of their friendship
Yeah.
for him, and like they're gonna have all these adventures and journeys in the future. But for right now, like he knows this guy's going off to his death essentially. I think
Yeah.
that's
100%.
powerful.
Which is
powerful
tough.
scene.
Yeah, which is tough because he knows this is what the business is about, and like he was even willing in the beginning to kill himself. So he knows that's what these guys are about. Like, yeah, if it's down,
True, I
coming
forgot.
down.
Yeah, he was willing to die for this
Yeah,
before
so
he
he
even
knows
knew what it was
what
about.
That's what it's about. Like, this is what
Yeah.
we do. So, but I guess he's never gotten close to someone before where it's like he's like, damn, like I don't want this dude to die. And yeah, I thought it was really powerful. Just the way he's like, wait, so you've known me, like him tearing up a little bit. It definitely was really powerful.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys as well. I actually really like the ending of this movie. I love the ending of this movie. I think it is unpredictable. Like when they're going into that fight scene, I don't know what the hell is going to happen.
No
Yeah.
idea.
We got this team moving backwards, this team moving forwards. We got Cat on the boat. I don't know what the hell is going to happen. So I thought it was really unpredictable. The closing scene with Ives is his name.
Oh, yeah.
Neil and him.
Yeah.
The emotion. You're right. and this is what I was talking about before, how like what is so good about this movie is our characters. And this is a scene that we get the emotion of our characters, their relationship with these two guys that it's crazy that like you built this situation where you have these two guys with such a compelling relationship that we've never even seen.
Yeah.
But we understand that it's there, right? And that's part of
For
Robert
one of them,
Pattinson,
at least.
That's what I mean. But that's
Yeah.
in part of Robert Pattinson's performance, right? To show like I love this guy that doesn't even know me, right? But like we're best friends, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
like that I really like about this scene. And then he says, you know, the whole thing's a temporal pincer. And then the twist of like, you know, you haven't guessed by now who recruited me?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
I was like,
The first watch
all
that
these
got
little
me.
things, man. It's so good.
No, it was really
It
good.
really added it to the end there.
So now I'm gonna get to my point that I teased earlier that I feel strongly about this.
Okay.
And I'm curious to hear what you guys think. I think this movie would have an amazing sequel. Could have an amazing sequel. And here's why.
Okay.
So Neil says the whole thing's a temporal pincer. We just
Yeah.
said that. Boom. There's your general plot right there.
Yeah.
So we get how the protagonist starts Tenet.
Yeah.
You know, so this takes place in the future.
Yeah.
So we learn about the people in the future that employ Seder.
Yeah.
You know, they send all this stuff back and they're trying to end the world. So we get that piece of the puzzle. We get the protagonist starting Tenet. And then we get Neil and his relationship.
Yeah.
Like I said, so we heard about it. We're like, yeah, we got up to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But then you can show it to us in this sequel and have it moving backwards and have him setting himself up for this movie.
How
you know
would
what I mean?
you?
Because
So
he's moving it
how
backwards.
would you do it? Would you make it again, John David Washington the star, or would you flip it? Now it's Neil's perspective. John David Washington's coming and recruiting him.
I think it
He's
could
the
be
new
both.
guy.
I think they could both be like
That would
two
be
main characters.
fire.
You know what I'm saying?
How far in the future is it? Like, do they look older? Are they gonna look
Well,
different?
did they say how far in the future it is?
Almost like
that
John
these
David
people
Washington
are-
at this point is like say 2030 or something like this.
Okay.
So I say maybe 20, 30 years in the future would be my.
So you get
He's like in
Denzel
his
to play him?
40s, 50s type of
That's-
thing.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That would be tough.
That would be so
You
sick.
get Denzel to play him.
Yo,
That would
dude,
be
this
tough.
has to happen.
would
Nolan.
be
Nolan
tough.
doesn't do sequels though. So
Wait,
well, I
there's
guess,
a Batman trilogy. What are you talking about?
yeah, I guess
Nolan.
it doesn't count though.
Nolan, my friend, get Denzel
Yeah.
and make this sequel, bro. We need this, dude. It's
But
all
bring
there.
John David too. I want some flashbacks.
Like,
Yeah.
the people said, and remember they talk about the girl that created this algorithm, but she knew it was too dangerous, so she broke it up and sent it to the
Killed
past.
herself.
We show us that in the movie. Like there's all of this that's already built into this world that's sitting right there. It's a juicy vein waiting to be tapped.
building,
Bro,
I like me some world
I'm
building.
telling you, I feel so strongly about this. This could have an amazing sequel.
No, definitely.
So if you could only pick one Nolan film to have a sequel, is this the one you would go with?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean, we don't need to see Oppenheimer 2.
That's just history.
It's just
That's-
the Cold War.
It's just his
Exactly,
continuing
bro.
history. Yeah.
Bay of Pigs.
Dunkirk
Yeah.
2.
Ah,
We don't need that.
I'm trying to think what I could.
Like Inception and
Prestige,
Stellar.
too,
Yeah,
could go
I was thinking
hard.
Prestige, but it was like that kind of like it ends in itself. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
need
True.
It's like,
That's what I'm
Same with
saying.
Memento and
Interstellar.
like
It's got a nice. He's closed up all
yeah.
of
They
it.
closed
They're-
up. Yeah,
they're
this
all
one left
movie.
open.
But
This
this
one,
one,
there's
but
a
this
lot
one
of
it's weird
juiciness left.
because it is closed.
Yeah,
it's
it
like you
is
just
closed.
haven't gone the
Yeah,
direction
the
around
other
the
parts.
circle.
That's what I
That's
mean.
true.
It's closed,
Hey.
but there's more available.
It's the trains
Yeah.
going
I'm
in
telling
either
you,
direction.
bro. I'm telling you, bro. This would have a hell of a sequel.
I
So
agree.
I don't know if you're gonna talk about it there. That last scene
Go for it.
with Priya. So
Oh,
he tells Kat, he gives her that phone. He's like, if you ever feel anything, give me a call. But
Yeah.
obviously him in the future gonna get that message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulls up on Priya, who is gonna kill the girl.
Yeah.
He's like, you gave me your words. I told you my word was worth.
Yeah.
Blows her brains out. But I like this scene because it goes back to an earlier scene with Priya where he says, I'm the protagonist.
Yeah.
And she says, no, you're a protagonist.
Yeah.
And then we come to the end of the film. He now learns all that he's learned. He's the one in the future controlling everything. He's the one that recruited her in the
Yeah.
future. He's like, no. I am the protagonist.
Yeah. Because he also says this bar too. He's like, right now I wasn't sure if I was working for you, but then I realized we've both been working for me.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
And then he fires her
Yeah,
by blowing her brains out.
Yeah.
And she was kind of hard too. She's like, "Well, you better close those loose ends." Like she's like, not
Yeah,
even
she
fighting.
knew.
it. I'm
Yeah,
like,
she knew.
damn.
Yeah,
But she
yeah.
knows the business.
I guess that's
I
great.
respect that.
That's a tough business.
My guy, he pulls off all
It's
loose
a
ends.
lucrative one though, bro.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that's
All
true.
those yachts that we were
But take
they were
this
on
in,
some
though.
dope ass boats. Everyone was swagged out in this
that's
movie.
true.
Everyone got money.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, but we're willing to die for this. We gotta keep it all under wraps and da. But hey, let Shorty over there live. Don't worry about her.
Yeah,
Don't worry about her.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like this, that's another thing I don't love about this movie is that it's kind of murky. The relationship is like, do they, don't they? And I guess you don't have to always make it a point. Like, and sometimes I always see it like the protagonist gets the girl, like you mentioned earlier, Jordan. Sometimes I'm like, man, did they have to do that?
Yeah.
But
Especially
in this
when it's like not developed. It's just like
but in
oh,
this
yeah, and he gets the
situation,
girl.
it's kind of there, and like I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. It's the openness. Even that is kind of like, is he ever gonna get there to her? Is that's another thing where she's like, are we gonna get to see in the future? Is that his girl, or is he? Does he never really pursue?
Yeah.
He's not like.
I don't
that's the
think it
difference.
would.
You don't think so?
My vibe is like he's about
Just a
business.
protector.
Like, I'm here
Yeah.
for the mission, which is why I
Yeah.
was so confused. But there was one scene near the end there where remember he's like wait for the flare gun to go off before he kills Sadar. She's like, no, I can't do this. Like you're not gonna go out thinking you won, and kills him. She's like, oh, did you do it? Did you find the way? I knew you would find a way.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah,
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah, I know.
I knew you would find a way. This is all of existence we're talking
yeah.
about.
Also, the question is like, did you do it? It's like, well, I'm still here, so yeah.
Yeah.
Existence
You killed.
didn't stop.
He's dead,
Yeah.
and we're still alive. So yeah. But also the little twist that she sees herself jump off the
Yeah.
boat. So we're like, oh, she was herself, like, because she talked about that earlier in the movie. Like,
So a
oh,
woman
I
jump
admired her freedom. This was another point that person made online of like why she is such a strong proponent of free will, because she's like, I admired that girl's freedom, and that girl is her.
Yeah.
So like that was a cool twist.
That was
as well.
a cool
Like
twist.
the whole. That's why the ending of this movie, all the twists that wrap up, it's so good.
No,
I
it's
really
good.
like the ending.
No, I agree, 100%.
Did you have any more facts that you didn't get to?
I saw a fan theory,
Okay.
which is why this viewing I viewed a little differently. And the theory is something that it's kind of small. It's not like concrete where people are like, maybe Nolan, because Nolan doesn't give answers. You know, people ask him in interviews, is this actually a truth, like fan theory? Is this good? And he's just like, I'm not going to tell you. You guys can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And the theory is that Neil is Max. Did you think of that?
I did see
Oh, I
that
did
theory.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some of the proof, and like some of them stuff are small. It's like when they first meet, the first thing he mentions is talking about like, would you kidnap a child or a woman? Like he's immediately like talking about them. It's like, oh, because he's talking about himself. And then like there's also the part of like the him speaking Estonian. Because remember, he's just like, when they're in the car and he hears the backwards, he's like, I don't know what you're saying. He's like, well, I thought you speak Estonian. It's like, and then people are saying that Estonian is one of the hardest languages to learn. And the only way you know is if like you grew up learning it. And like the what's his name? Sadar is Estonian. So it's like, oh, maybe that just
ones.
pops. That's why he
I
knows
like
it. Because
those
why else would he
ones.
learn that language? And then like, you know how the movie's always like forward and backwards? They're saying how like Max is short for Maximilian. And the last parts of Maximilian, if you like the last four words are L-I-E-N, and if you flip it backwards, it spells Neil.
And
this is like the
that
Kendrick
one-
thing.
that
This is
one
like the
maybe feels
Kendrick
like a
thing.
bit of a reach.
It might be, but it's like it fits with the whole going backwards and forwards.
I
with
get
the
it.
movie,
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
at
that
least.
fits
If
into
it
it.
wasn't this movie where you'd be like, okay, now you're going backwards, flipping stuff, but this whole movie's about flipping
Yeah.
things forwards and backwards.
Yeah.
So I saw those two things and I was like, okay, that's not bad. And the fact that he's saying this is the end of me, but this is the beginning for you and me. And the end of the movie is him looking at them. So it's almost like this is the beginning of the relationship between me and you, and you're looking at me and my mom. You're about to have a relationship with us, and this is the beginning
I'm
of it.
telling you, bro. Sequel.
Hey,
Yeah, bro,
Nolan.
come on, dog. You're right. That could be
Could be.
true.
Could
like
be.
there's a few little spots. I mean, I'd have to watch the movie again, like purely thinking of this.
Yeah,
and
it's
to
kind of
see
fun
it-
if you think of if
Yeah.
you watch
that's
it
what I'm
like
saying.
that. It's like,
third,
oh shit.
that third, and fourth, this third watch, I watched it through the lens of Neil.
Yeah.
Almost, right? So like when he meets him and he makes that comment about the coke, or when he runs into the hallway and you see him unmask the guy and he throws the mask back. Now having all the information, I look at these so differently.
Yeah.
So now I almost do want to watch it a fourth, maybe not tonight, but a fourth time where I'm like, okay, could Max be Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And watch it like that. That'd be interesting.
I mean,
to
we
do.
don't get a ton on Max, but like you're like those points are actually they're not. Some of them are not bad. I think the name thing.
Yeah, the name thing's a little thing, but the Estonian thing.
Yeah, the Estonian thing is cool, and
because
just
why bring
like
it
the
up? You know what I mean?
concept of like we're gonna move forward, and all he would have to do is continue to go back in time.
Because you'd still be aging, right?
And he's already in the world, right? His mom knows about it.
Yeah,
true.
And the
Who better to
protagonist knows
recruit?
about it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it could make sense. That could be in the sequel,
I
bro.
like that.
and then you also just look at all the times they're in the same scenes together, where it's like, again, these ones are a little more overreach too, but it's like it's the fact that he cares. Like even though like there's never pushback about saving her, like doing stuff with her. He's always like, yeah, we'll save her. He's like, oh, he's getting away, and he's like, we should save her. He immediately goes, doesn't even give pushback at all. He's like, yeah,
be his mom.
yeah, because I guess he doesn't want to be like, we should save her, and he'd be like, wait, why do you care? But he's like putting on him knowing he's gonna say, let's save her, because he knows the relationship, and he just immediately goes. And then when he wakes up from his hypothermia thing, he's putting so much care into making sure she's okay too. Where it's like, I feel like they could have outsourced and got someone to take care of her.
True,
but that's his mom, so he wants to make sure she's good.
It could be.
Maybe.
It could be.
Only other things I had to note that, like, you know, when you're watching film reviews and all this stuff, points that got brought up that I liked. So they point out how John David Washington, he hadn't really done anything too big before this. He was in like Black Klansman by Spike Lee, but if you're not like big into black films, you may not have Spike Lee.
Yeah.
He was in Ballers, which is a TV show with
with The
Dwayne
Rock
Johnson, but again, not a huge name.
Yeah.
So they were kind of saying he benefits from being a newer, kind of more unknown actor, being the nameless protagonist.
Yeah.
Where you don't have this like fixed idea or label of him on him already. He wasn't really a big action star before this or anything.
Yeah.
So in the video, they were kind of noting, imagine if you had put like a Chris Evans in this role. You would just see Captain America.
Yeah, that's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So to have him be this nameless protagonist, but also like a less big of a name actor in this new role kind of helped him a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
And then that same guy also went on to say this is a big step forward in like black acting, in the sense that you have this main black character in a big budget film, but black isn't part of his necessarily story.
No, not at all.
Yeah, like it
could be a white dude.
He wasn't from Detroit and had a rough, you know what I mean? Like he was just so happened to be black.
Yeah.
And was a great protagonist type of thing. Like that, those little notes like that where I'm like, you know what, good point. I like that. I like that.
Good point. It's a really good point.
No, it is a good point. The only thing I had was just it's not even super interesting, but just that it won the Oscar for best visual effects.
Okay,
you know,
actually,
we
I didn't remember.
we were talking about the reverse, especially in that final fight, the cool the effects. The walking is a little weird, but the explosions and the plane and the highway scene, they were pretty good. So I just wanted to let that be known that they won the Oscar.
Well deserved.
Travis Scott did one of the theme songs for the movie.
Yeah, the ending. The end
that was
credits.
that caught me off guard.
Really
Not a duo I thought would team up.
I know,
Yes,
eh?
Nolan and Travis Scott.
Hey, he's a big rodeo guy.
I'm not mad about it. Kind of hit.
Yeah, 100%.
I had no idea until I didn't really realize. I guess I forgot about it because I probably realized it when I watched it.
Yeah.
But because I remember when I typed in like Tenet on the TV and I saw like Travis Scott Tenet, I was like, what?
Huh?
He was in Tenet? Like, did he do something with Tenet? And I was like, oh, I forgot. But
It's
random.
lit.
Oh, jeez.
All right, well, let's get to the filmies then.
All right, let's get into the filmies. Again, a little awkward. We have no music, but let's get right into it. So for those that are new,
Post-cut.
what?
Yeah.
Put the theme song in.
Yeah,
post.
but for
I
us,
will,
it
I
just
will,
feels
I will.
awkward.
See, it's weird.
now.
Yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
the other side of it.
That's what I'm
It's just
saying.
such a smooth.
Well, normally when we're recording online, I play it
You
live.
play it?
Yeah,
So we
so
sit
we
there
actually
for a
hear it.
second.
Now we're here.
Now we're just.
Yeah, now we're just here and
Do
we
it with
can't
your
even
mouth.
do it. No, we're not
I'm
gonna.
not. No. Chill with that.
No, do
Hey,
it.
yo.
Do it with your mouth. Yeah. Anyway,
with that.
if you're new to this, this is the Filmies where we give out 6 awards to the movie we just watched. First award that we have is our Ferris Bueller Award. So, Jordan, we'll start off with you since you're our guest. So, give us what's your
Sounds good. This
your
one,
Ferris?
I clocked this so early. I was watching that movie, this recent watch. I said, there's my Ferris one right there.
Okay, yeah.
Wrote it down. Said, let me see if something else comes up. But no, this is the one. So when they have their heist with the big plane or whatever, and they have his name's, I had to go Google it, Mehir, the Indian guy that's kind of helping them out on the plane
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where he has to take out a guard. And I guess he like chloroforms them or something.
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
My boy doesn't cover the mouth, barely covers the nose, holds it for half a second. The guard drops.
It was as quick. It
I'm
was
like,
quick.
what
I was so upset. I'm like, I don't know whose job this is, but if you're gonna be out here, this secret multinational organization, forwards and backwards in time, and all these gadgets, cover the guy's mouth, and we're gonna be knocking out the guard. Barely.
It worked.
It shouldn't
Honestly,
have.
I'd give the lazy word to the guard. Like,
I was
bro.
furious. Somewhere in that situation, I don't know if it's the guy, the guard, the designer of the scene itself. Someone better do better.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. I was
was
watching
quick.
that. I was upset.
It was quick.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Scott, what about you?
My lazy word, I gave it to the people that are transporting the algorithm piece.
Okay.
So like the highway scene, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you actually talked about it, Jordan. They were clearly getting boxed in.
Yeah.
So clearly. They had a big truck on the left, big truck on the right, front, back, and they're totally boxed in. And they only started to call for help once they all like stopped. Like all the trucks stopped and freeze and close them in. They're like, oh shit, call for help. But by then they
radios.
blocked off the radio, right? Bro, as soon as you got two big trucks on your side, you know you're transporting precious cargo. You should be watching out for this shit.
Because the guys driving at this point think it's just plutonium, right? I
Yeah.
guess. But even
Still,
plutonium.
that's what I'm saying. And then they're fully boxed in. They're like, wow, these guys are driving kind of weird, but okay, whatever. And then they call it in after they've jumbled the radio or whatever.
Oh,
That's
man.
just lazy.
Oh, that's fair. No, that's
You got to be alert if you're in this
Come on,
position
dog.
of power.
Come on, dog.
That's a good point. I also realized I didn't set it up properly. For those that, if you're new, a Ferris Bueller award. It's our lazy award. We give it to. Yeah, I didn't set it. I mean, I think they get it now, but
Yeah.
it's
How many episodes in are we?
I said if they're new,
It could be their first episode.
This could be their first episode. So
Ferris
if
Bueller's
it's your,
day off.
yeah, exactly.
He
If
was
it's your
lazy
first
that day.
episode,
Yeah.
it could be director, writer, it could be anybody. If we find it,
Characters,
it's
yeah.
not something we think that ruins the movie, but it's
Yeah.
just like something we thought was funny that we wanted to point out. Sometimes it's not even lazy. Sometimes it's something funny we want to point out. And but
go ahead.
mine goes to Priya, and this is again, it's just for the low security at the end. Because like you're a billionaire, you're about to kill someone, you got one dude with you, and also how the hell did him get in the car? Like your doors unlocked, like it was
no doors locked.
like he killed the dude, and like it's like you didn't know there was a man. If you're driving a car, if there's someone behind you, it's a presence of someone being there.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a laziness of not being observant of just what's around you, and maybe you should have had more people on you. I don't know.
Oh, that's fair.
You're about to
it's fair.
assassinate
That's
someone.
what I'm
I think
saying.
you'd be on your P's and Q's.
Because
Yeah, you're right.
think about it as well. Earlier in the movie, they're like, I need to get a meeting with Priya.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know how hard that is? He never leaves her apartment, and there's like 12 guards there.
Yeah.
But when she leaves the apartment,
One guy.
One dude.
That's crazy.
Why leave the apartment? Why do that yourself? Why did she have to be there?
She did not have to be there.
She did not have
That's
to
a
be
text
there.
message.
Yeah, take out cat.
Basically.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, how easy was it to get in her crib, too? Even with all those guards, they just
bungee jump?
jumped in her house.
Well, I mean, they didn't expect someone to have inverted bungee jumping.
If you know about
Equipment.
forward and backwards time, I think you should know about bungees.
Well, they had guards on the perimeter. What else was she supposed to do?
I guess.
How
No,
you
it's true.
defend
You know?
against?
All right. Well, I'm just
Time
going to the low
time
security.
travelers.
I'm going to
You're
the low
right.
security.
The car one, the car one's right.
Next award we have is the fit check. So pretty self-explanatory. What was your favorite fit of this movie, or worst? we always do that. but-
Mine was that gray suit. My boy met with Michael Caine. Michael Caine said, "You want my tailor?" He said, "Fuck you. I'm a bad man." Pulled up 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
Watch. Even the cat was like, "Yeah, you dressing the part. You just don't know about this money."
Yeah.
But he was dressing like he had that
dripping.
money. My boy was
dripping.
That's one of those. I would wear that.
Yeah. No, it was
Oh
fresh.
yeah. No, there was.
Scott gets married again.
Again.
That's- if you got
Or
gets
renew
married
your
again.
vows or
yeah,
something.
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
meant. That's what I
maybe
meant.
that, yeah, maybe
If you renew your vows, that's the piece I'm wearing. That's the one.
Yeah, there was a lot of good fit. He had a lot of good fits. Cat had great fit. Honestly, there was. I remember when right before we were going in this movie, I was wondering. I was like, I wonder.
Who my
Are there
fit's
going to
gonna
be
go
good, any good fits? Like it'll be guys in suits, whatever. But the suits were crazy.
Yeah,
And
they were nice.
I gave mine to him as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Not the same time though. I gave it when he was meeting Neil for the first time in India, and he's got like
Oh, yeah.
off. It's like an off-white polo, like a just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
and then a shiny like sand colored almost suit over top. It was fresh.
No, there's a lot of tough suits. Again, that makes me think of the James Bond thing too, because people are so like just they're so dapper. Like everyone just looks so to the nines with all their suits, and just because no one's playing around in this movie. That's why I was like, when I said that or worse, I'm like, no one's picking.
It can't
worse.
be.
There's just too many fresh fits to you just to go over and be negative. It's like, there's too many nice fits.
Did anyone have any weak fits? Like, was there a fit?
I'm sure there was a couple. I'm sure maybe like staff or something. We could have found something. Weak,
Honestly,
but
I feel like now that I think about it, Sater kind of had some below par fits. You know,
to me,
just
that's
some
billionaire.
basic,
that's
Billionaires don't
basic,
wear nothing drippy.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I'm rich. I'll wear sweatpants.
But I feel like he was wearing even like just dress pants and a dress shirt, but the shirt was like a little baggy. I'm like, there's no chance you're buying off the rack, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, dog.
Yeah, that's tailored.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Maybe
bro?
he lost weight due to the stress of
Maybe.
holding the world.
Well,
in
and
his
he
hands.
also has like this degenerative disease, so maybe that's
pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Maybe that's eating away at him.
Yeah, maybe.
That's true.
But he's overweight, so it's not eating.
It's not
away.
eating
Maybe
fast
he's-
enough.
So my fit, I gave some love to Kat because she had some fresh fits. I didn't know which one to go with, but the one that stuck out with me after like scrubbing through it again was it was when it was the first time after like we saw our boy him, like he did beat up everybody, and then he's like, you won't be getting my call, and then he calls her.
Okay.
So it's that scene, and she's wearing like this tailored like jacket with kind of like plaid, and then she has like a little collar thing that has like a little like ruffle on it. It almost looks like an ascot, but then it has like the way it comes down. It's got like some ruffles on it. Even the buttons go down. It just looks so clean.
Was this when they were on that like balcony or whatever in like off the ocean?
No, she's picking up Max from school. It was like right after. It was like right after that. And then it's just like, it was a matching suit to like a skirt, and I thought it looked fresh.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. She has some fresh fits too.
Yeah, she had
for
that,
sure.
and then the matching it wasn't matching, but just like the brown bag that went with it.
Okay,
too.
nice.
I was watching a movie with Caddy, and she's like, "Oh, that's an expensive bag."
That's
I was
my
like,
girl clocked that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh, that's a Birkin.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously?
That's a Birkin. I'm like,
I was not watching this with my girl, so I didn't notice the bag.
So I was like, all right. That's why I went, okay, I'll give it to
Okay.
her because she's flexing hard, not just the fit, but
Okay.
also the bag means something. I wouldn't have clocked it.
Yeah, I
Versus
didn't.
like us, if it was like those are that. You see those Jordans he's wearing? The girls would be like,
Yeah,
"What,
facts.
He's got on the Derek Jeters.
Yeah,
That's my
exactly.
girl hit me with. She's like, "Do you know how long you have to wait for one of those bags?" I'm like, "Damn, all right."
No, I don't.
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
I'm guessing a while if you're bringing it up.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, our next award is a quote. So again, self-explanatory. So Jordan, what was your favorite quote of the movie?
Man, my quote again from that ending there with Neil. I'll see you at the beginning, friend. Ooh, that one devastated me. But then now again, once I've watched it a couple times, I feel like each time I've heard it, it's almost taken on new meaning.
Yeah.
I'll see you at the beginning, friend. You know, he's gonna meet this guy again in the protagonist's future. See you at the beginning, friend, because now again I'm watching this from the beginning.
Yeah.
See you at the beginning again, like you pointed out. We're now at the beginning of where the film started.
Yeah.
So many different kind of meanings to that one phrase that carried such emotional weight, such kind of weight to the film and the stakes and everything. That one, what a way to end the film. That one resonated with me.
No, that's a great quote. I really like that.
Yeah, it is a great one, and we talk about how much we all love that scene, just like all these bros being dudes.
Yeah.
And no, it was a good one. You're right. It punches you right in the heart. Like, see at the beginning, and it's also cool. Like, it's just like that little twist on what you would like. No one says that.
Yeah.
See at the beginning because we're not moving backwards through time.
No, exactly.
But so, so it's just a cool little like play on words. It's good.
Now, what about you, Scott? What was your favorite quote?
My favorite quote I gave to him.
Yeah.
And it's when what he says to Priya's husband, actually.
Okay.
So when they reverse or inverted bungee jump up onto the rooftop, and he's threatening him, right? He's like, you're going to talk to me because he thinks that he's in charge. And he says, I'm not the one they send to negotiate, but I am the one people talk to. And not only was the line hard as shit, but also like because he has the gun to his head and he moves his hand over his face, covering the gun, like he's about to shoot him in the head. He doesn't want the blood to splat everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just like an extra little touch to the threat.
Yeah.
So it was a bar, and he had this extra touch to the threat. I was like, oof, that's not cool.
That's a good quote. I actually almost forgot about that, but you just saying it again, I'm like, oh yeah, that was hard. Yeah, that was tough. For me, I gave it to him also too, but I just went the funny route because
Nice.
it was just a quote that just made me die. There's a couple funny lines in this movie, but it's just when he's just describing about how he's gonna threaten him to kill him and like, well, slice his throat, but just up a hole, put the balls in his throat, and then him just saying like, "That's how you treat all your guests." He's just so dead. Yeah, I know he is. It's hilarious.
Well, second place for me was definitely that I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago.
Yeah, I know. I thought about that one too.
Just short and simple. I just liked it because it was funny. So
I
just wanted to go to the funny route on that, just because the movie got some good humor in there too.
But he's so calm in all these situations.
Yeah.
Like a dude threatening to kill you in like the worst way imaginable, and you're just like, damn.
Just cutting your throat would be bad.
Oh yeah,
Not even cutting, bro. Like
putting a hole.
Put a hole
in.
I'd already be dead. And then, then I'm gonna chop your nuts off. Second time I'm dead.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put your nuts in your
I don't
throat.
think that would kill you. Cutting your balls off.
You want me to find out?
a hole big enough in your throat to put your balls in?
No, that might. I'm saying like cutting the balls.
No,
off.
I just mean the
The
cutting
trauma
into
of
the
my
throat
balls
part.
being removed would stop my heart.
That's tough. That would be tough.
I think I would die of shock.
That would be tough. And he treats all of his guests like that.
Yeah, apparently.
Even the female ones.
You said there'd be pie.
All right, so our next award is our Six Man, aka our Nas Reed Award. So it's someone that we wanted to give love to. Didn't have a huge role, but we wanted to give them some love. Sometimes they did have a little bigger role than a six man,
whatever.
but it's just a
All
way of
these
giving them
rules are
love.
made up.
Yeah, exactly.
It really doesn't
It's
matter.
just a way of giving them love that's not necessarily the MVP. So, Jordan, who's your six man?
So for this one, I know you guys always say on the podcast, your six man comes and goes what it means. You know what I mean? So in my head, I'm like, what's a true six man?
Yeah.
It's that guy that's going to be consistent for you. You know what I mean? Not your main guy, but he's consistent.
Yeah.
So I had to look up his name, but I found it.
Okay.
Andrew Howard. So the
Okay.
guy that pulls out the protagonist's teeth.
Oh,
I tell you what I give my boy. I looked up his
Okay.
IMDb. My
Okay.
boy is just Russian mafia guy who does
That's all he
violent
does.
things to people.
Damn.
Consistency.
Damn.
Listen, I'm not gonna ask him to give me 50 points.
No. But he'll come off the
He'll
bench.
come off the
Yeah.
bench.
He'll get you. He'll rebound for you. Play
He'll get me some
defense.
teeth.
yeah.
He'll play defense. Yeah.
He'll do
get
his job.
a couple
He'll
teeth.
do it well.
Great six man.
That's my pick.
No, that's
Andrew
great.
Howard.
I like that.
I can
I-
rely
so
on
that's the
him.
name of the actor.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
actor. They don't have a name for him in the. I looked it up. It's just
Okay.
driver.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm impressed you even found like his.
I
the
went
actor's
looking,
name.
buddy.
Hey.
I went
Yeah, I mean,
looking.
you just go on IMDb and you dig. You know
I
what I
guess,
mean?
yeah.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because there's a couple guys like that. I think of like the guy that shoots in freaking Boys in the Hood. In 3 other movies, he's just a shooter.
Is he?
Yeah, and then also in Training Day, the guy like one of the like the Latino guys that's like Jose or whatever.
Oh,
He's like
yeah.
Jose in like 6 other movies.
Yeah.
So it's that
just
same.
racist.
It really
That's
is.
just racist.
It really is. It's that
the
same
casting
kind of
call. Generic Mexican looking guy.
Yeah, basically.
An
Well, you
essay.
got to be named Jose.
Yeah,
It's an
only
essay.
the same name. It's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
But so Scott, who was your six man?
Yeah, my six man. We actually talked about it a little bit too. Is Ludwig Göransson,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
composer.
Yeah.
I give it to him because like the sound is so great.
Solid.
Like
Yeah.
it just adds so much to the planning scenes, the action scenes, and it was supposed to be Hans, but he turned down to do Dune because Hans did all of Nolan's other movies up to this point. So he was gonna do it if it weren't for the scheduling conflict, but it went to Ludwig, and I think he killed it. I think it just adds so much to the movie, and he's my six man.
No, I agree. It's very good. We all went very different. I shouldn't say very different routes, but we all went different routes.
These are interesting. I like.
No, it
because
is good, though.
sometimes
Yeah, it's
they're all
nice
the
to
same,
hear.
'cause you know what the big
Yeah.
one. But it's nice to hear everyone's got.
No, 100% different reasons for it. I gave mine to Crosby, aka like Michael Caine.
Okay,
Just,
nice.
and it's more of just like appreciating Michael Caine. thing.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Because like he's in
Sir.
basically, I think he's in literally in every single Nolan movie. I may be incorrect. I think he might have missed
Well,
one.
probably some of the early.
He's
I
in
don't
a
think
lot
he's in
of them.
Memento.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, he's probably not
Is he in,
Memento the following.
Once
but
Upon
he's-
a- no, what's
Different guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
is he
I've
in
made plenty of those
Oppenheimer?
mistakes
Is
on
what
the
I meant.
podcast.
Sorry.
Don't
Is he
worry
in
about it.
Oppenheimer? No, he retired before
feel like
that.
he's not, yeah.
I think they said that he retired, but that's why
So
he
was
wasn't
this
going
his
to be now.
last? So this was his last.
Yeah,
one?
that was the last one. Yeah.
Damn, that's
So
his guy.
I think that's another reason to give him
Yeah.
to give him a shout because again, also he had a funny line too where it's just like where he's saying, "Hey, British people don't have a monopoly on snootiness." He's like, "Not a monopoly, but more of a controlling interest."
Yeah, that was good.
And that's his last line. And so like technically it's his last line in a Nolan movie.
Damn.
Actually,
no,
you know
he'll
what?
come back.
I'm glad you said that. We gotta talk about a scene there. I died when he comes in and the protagonist comes in. He's talking to like the server, the host, or
yeah.
whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'm here to see so and so." He's like, "You mean
Sir,
sir, so
yeah.
and so?" He's like, "All right, bro."
Fuck
Like,
you.
brings him to the table. He's like, "I'll have what he's having." Okay, like goes and gets it. They finish their conversation. He comes back with the food. He's like,
can I get that in a to-go box?
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely
You guys
not.
like, absolutely not. It was killing me, bro. I can see both perspectives.
Oh, yeah,
like I can
100%.
imagine being the protagonist, and I'm like, screw
Literally,
you.
literally their whole relationship, like this side character basically that has like 4 lines,
Yeah.
is just them like beefing each other.
Yeah.
Love it.
For no reason.
It's literally
so
just
good.
like America versus British.
Yeah, you're
basically.
right. Yeah.
It's just like, look at this American coming in. We don't box things
Yeah.
up. That dude's a sir. You call him by sir. And then the other guy's just like, I don't oblige to your
me, bro.
stuff.
Yeah, you're right. That's great.
Absolutely not. Oh man.
Oh, no, it was good. It was good. We had 2 more awards. So our second last is best scene. So what was your favorite scene in the movie, Jordan?
Oh, mine was definitely that kitchen fight scene.
Oh, okay,
So after
yeah.
he meets Kat for the first time, he's going through that kit bad. Again, I talked
Yeah.
about before, but the ferocity.
Yeah.
He starts it off with the hot sauce line, just giving man's the business, man.
Yeah.
And then to come out cool, adjust his jacket,
Yeah.
go on about his business. That was clean.
that was good.
That was a clean scene. What a way to meet our protagonist.
Yeah.
That's a bad man right
No,
there.
100%. I
Yeah.
agree. Because before that, all we saw was like the opening scene. It's like, okay, he's doing like his military thing. He's been pressured, but now to see him with his just his hands, like he's got hands like that. No, it was
Yeah,
impressive.
they talk. His hands talk.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, and then just to finish it off, in the alley, the guy drives off and he's just like,
Yeah, exactly. You know.
that was light work. That was light.
Yeah.
That was in the trailer too. That was another like.
Oh, okay, I don't
quick-
remember that.
Not
Yeah.
in the alley, but like a fighting in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing that. I don't know why I remember this trailer so specifically, but
I thought you rewatched it the way
No.
you were
Apparently,
yeah.
no, I remember being super hyped for it because I was like, Nolan's my guy. This backward time thing looks cool as fuck, and it's COVID. There's no good movies out right now.
Yeah.
I'm so lit for this movie. Like the trailer, I was hyped.
Yeah.
It definitely
No,
went in
same.
a group chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I was
sure.
pumped about it too. But so what was your favorite scene, Scott?
Mine's when he gets captured after the highway scene and they're at the inverter. So like when Sater comes in with Kat
Yeah.
and he's threatening her, but like threatening him by threatening her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're back and forth when he's inverted, just like this. I thought it was really intense because we saw the bullet hole in the window and it's kind of at her head height because she's sitting down.
Yeah.
And I was like, is he about to shoot her in the head?
Yeah.
Because like we saw the bullet hole, so we know like there's about to be a gunshot. And then he stands her up and does it like on her hip. But I was like, that had me tense. It was a very intense
Yeah.
scene. And then he like Sater's inverted, he's not. So just that back and forth was really cool. And then he inverts himself right after this for the first time. And then we get into the back into the highway. But that scene I thought was really cool.
No, it's a really good scene, and I because this was my third viewing, I kind of forgot. But you saying that reminded me. I was thinking the same thing during that scene when he's like, "I'll shoot her again." I'm like, "Oh, like is she gonna die in this scene? Is it gonna be like this, like a crucial like plot point of the movie where it's like she dies now, and then it's gonna make the protagonist go like even stronger, or whatever kind of thing." It didn't happen, but I definitely remember being like tense in that moment. Like, oh, I don't know who's gonna be safe as this scene like goes on.
One thing that messed me up was so later on, like when they're on the boat and she shows she has a scar or whatever. What was that scar? From an inverted bullet? It was just like a straight line up and down?
Yeah, I don't know how that
Well, I
works.
guess it's one of those things too, where again we got to say like I don't know what an
Nolan.
inverted scar would look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
To me, a
could've been-
circle or like a
could've-
spiral
yeah.
or something. I don't know what I thought it would be, but just a straight line up and down. Maybe they had to cut her open. I don't know. But
Yeah, maybe.
that one, I saw the scar and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Was it an inverted axe that chopped her? Like, what's happening here?
I got no answers for you.
Yeah. I have no
Nolan.
answer.
Nolan.
Nolan.
When in doubt.
Yeah, exactly.
So my best scene. Actually, it's funny you say that because that's actually my best scene. It's
Okay.
that scene, yeah. So that was a perfect
good one.
little segue. I just like it because we talked about it when we were talking about the scene. Just like it's her redemption, and we kind of talked about how throughout this movie, it just at the beginning too, how like a lot of the Nolan's characters. I shouldn't say a lot, but we don't usually get a lot from that character. That's like one of the characters in the movie that we see her beginning. We kind of see that she's dealing with this abusive husband and all that stuff. There's that really like strong scene where it's just like they're arguing. He's about to beat her, and then the time he actually does hit her and stuff. So we get to see so much of her and what she's dealing with. She cares about her son and all that, and then she finally gets her redemption. And they tease it when she doesn't shoot him, so it's like, oh, she can't do it. She's not kill her. So at that point, I'm thinking like, okay, she's not a killer. It's probably gonna be the protagonist that's gonna do something to him, or like somebody else is gonna do it because she's not a killer. That's not her. But at that point now, she's been pushed so far to the edge. I think it was hype how she showed the scar first, and then it's like, this is what you did to me. I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
And then boom, drag him. My man does a little backflip
That
off
was
the ball.
gross,
That
bro.
Or go slid she put the sunscreen on the floor to slide
But
that
he
body.
slides and then he hits the boat
Yeah.
one time before he hits the
Bends in
water.
half.
Eesh.
Ugh, it was gruesome.
Yeah, the sound of it just thud. And then
But
just
I like
flip
that
back.
though because
PG-13, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
earlier on in the film,
no
like,
blood.
she's not able to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the cat later, that's almost a different person.
Yeah,
So,
no,
hey, that
100%.
cat couldn't have killed
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, but
I'm
this
not
one
that
can.
same cat.
Yeah.
100%.
And the cat that was on that little dinghy before and saw the girl diving off was yearning for that freedom. I'm now that
Yeah,
woman. I
100%.
became
I'm
my
that
dream.
bitch.
Yeah.
Literally though.
No,
so I
for
thought that
sure.
was kind of a cool first full circle moment in that she became her ideal person. She
Yeah.
became her dream.
And that's why it was my favorite scene, because is once she dived off and then from the first time watching and realizing, oh, that's her. And then you realize, I'm like, damn, she stayed. That's how she started. And this is how she is now. It's like, okay, yeah.
She's
It is.
free.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It's a great scene.
Does she then after that reinvert to go back to her normal timeline?
I don't know.
How does it work?
No, she
she just
couldn't.
keeps going.
You can't go forward in the future.
So now she's just back in time a
She's
week
just-
in the same time as
Yeah.
herself. So
Yeah.
she should hide from herself permanently.
Yeah. Well, no, because
Her
that
past
version
self
of
will then
herself
at some
will
point
invert.
go back.
Yeah. Like a
So
week
it'll-
later,
it'll even out.
It's all a cycle. Like the girl that's on the boat
get
that
what
just
you're
saw her
That was her.
goes through the
future
story
self.
of the movie.
Yeah.
So
with
she's
you.
gonna invert. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I was worried there.
no.
No, but
I'm
but there,
stuck a week behind.
but there are multiple like versions of yourself in the same
in the same time.
In the
well,
same
that's why he's got to
time.
hide in the.
Because think about it, right? Like I
in the
said, this
windmill.
movie ends at the same time it starts.
Yeah.
So the protagonist Neil that saves him in the opera scene right at the start,
Yeah.
right? There's multiple versions of all these guys.
Did you ever see that like flow chart of like the timeline or whatever?
someone made one?
So there's like 4 different versions of like Neil running around at like one given time.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh shit.
Because there's like the one that was going forward, then the
Oh,
one that
yeah, that's
inverted,
true.
and then this guy
Yeah.
inverted back
That's
further.
talk about
so he-
stressful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Part of
Well,
it- isn't
but
there a-
you're good
oh,
to
yeah.
see yourself. You just can't touch
Yeah,
yourself.
isn't there a part of you that kind of wanted to see someone get annihilated?
Yeah.
Let's just see what actually happens. Because they
True.
talked about
Try
it.
to find out.
Remember, like that thing in movies, like if you talk about it, you got to show it.
Chekhov's gun
they,
or whatever
but they
that's
couldn't
called.
do that practically, so they
Yeah,
said no.
that's true.
Man,
You
just
can
disappear.
actually annihilate a person.
They did it in Infinity War.
This is a different
Yeah,
movie.
No, but
that's not
concept,
Nolan.
that
You could
concept.
make
No, but I'm
someone
saying it's
disappear.
because it's Nolan.
Nolan don't make people disappear.
He does use
Practically.
CGI though.
He could
He's
practically
not-
turn someone to
he-
dust.
He does
Put
use
someone through
CGI.
like a wood chipper,
What the? Damn.
Yeah, but
like a carcass or something.
Yeah, not a real person, not
Oh.
an actual actor.
Oh no, I meant like a dead body. Like
What
you know,
the
you know,
hell's
someone
wrong
like
with
donate
you?
their body to science or something. I guess you could use like
Well, they
a
don't
pig
do
or
that
something.
anymore. They used to do that. They used
You
to
can't
put
do that
real dead
anymore?
bodies in movies. And what's it called? Apocalypse Now. There's real dead bodies.
Oh my
If
God.
anyone go back
Yeah,
and
but
watch
do they put
Apocalypse
any of
Now.
them through a wood chipper?
No, they don't. But they have them just on. It's
See, they're not
wild,
thinking.
bro.
That
They're
is
not thinking
wild.
big enough.
They came a
Why
Logan
would you
Paul,
even do
bro.
that?
The wood chipper.
No, like get dead bodies.
Practical.
Yeah,
Practical,
but you
brother.
can have live people just pretend to be dead.
Nah, but if I see an eye twitch, I'm out of the moment now.
So don't twitch your eye. It's not that hard.
Look at you, professional dead man.
Easy work.
You could just kill someone. Well, not kill someone, but use the dead body,
Yeah.
preferably
No,
natural
that's-
causes.
No, that's gross.
No, it is wild. I'm
That's
not
gross.
disagreeing.
Don't do that.
I'm just telling people.
That's messed
Or like
up.
those old films where like someone would be holding a skull or something. It's like actually a human
Oh, that's
skull.
different.
That's
Like-
messed
That's different.
no, it's not. I don't want to hold
a
a
skull.
You'd
Well,
be
it
fine with a
depends on,
human
like,
skull.
Is it like a medical, like in the context of a like
You're
I'm at
filming a
hospital,
movie?
or is it like I'm
You're filming a
Indiana
movie.
Jones and then
No. You're filming a movie, and they say for this scene, here's a real human skull.
Yeah, I don't want that.
That's what I'm saying. That's nasty.
Yeah.
All right.
You would hold it?
Well, if you're talking about you're talking about medical wise. Like, there's real when you were in like a
that's how
classroom.
Dahmer
They
started.
have. Let's go to the MVP.
All right.
So the last award is MVP. So Jordan, who's your MVP? Self-explanatory.
Okay. For the longest time, I even had it written down. I had the protagonist.
Yeah.
But man, I got to change it. It's
Okay.
got to be Neil.
Okay.
Man, the way Neil, especially once you watch it back, the way he's there for the protagonist and you really see his care for this guy. This
Yeah.
is someone that, like you were saying, Robert's kind of performance. You see someone that's able to show you, like, I care about this person, and there's this history or this backstory that we have that I may not be able to show you, but you can feel. I feel like he did such a good job in that role being the guy that knows a little bit more than he's letting on, but then did a good job of hiding it. You know what I mean? Like, especially at the beginning. I think he's just a regular guy helping out. And then you're like, hey, wait a second, that's weird. Hey, wait a second, that's weird. Hey, who the hell are you? You know what I mean? And I think Robert did such a good job kind of portraying how much he knew and how much he kind of was able to let on. I thought he did a phenomenal job. And then again, with that quote at the end to kind of seal off the movie, poof.
So
Robert.
you giving it to Pattinson or Neil?
Oh, is it too different?
Well,
it's the same.
well,
Two
you giving
and
it
one.
to the character
Okay,
or the actor?
Gun to my head, I'll give it to Robert
Okay.
Pattinson.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, that's going to Batman.
Well, from what he's saying, it sounds like he's giving it to Neil because
Yeah.
he likes the character. He's talking about the character.
Yeah, but
being
he was
there.
talking about like
How it was portrayed.
the
okay.
performance he gave you.
I
That
guess
like
that's true.
this guy
Gun to
he
my head,
knows
Robert.
something, but not too
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Gun to my head, Robert.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. No, it's
That's
it's
how
a
it goes.
great pick.
It is a great pick.
What about you, Scott? Who's your MVP?
I gave mine in the same sense, but not the same person. Elizabeth Debicki, who plays Kat.
Okay.
Because I mean, you talked so much about Dion in your favorite scene.
Yeah.
Saying like how her arc was so interesting. I totally agree, and that's not her as an actress. That's Nolan writing this character, but her story being so compelling and her delivering every time she has to. Like she delivers so much emotion. You mentioned it, Jordan. How much emotion she has to deliver throughout this role, where she's in that moment when she has the gun to Seder, and he's like, "You're not going to shoot me." You know, your anger turns to despair. I can see despair in your eyes, and I could see it. You know, I could see she's more sad than angry in that moment, just through facial expression. And then at the end when she's on the boat and she's like, "Is this despair or is this anger?" And I'm like, "Nah, she's fucking pissed." And again, it's just like two different facial expressions that just conveyed so much emotion, and also like every time. She's hopeless and defeated when she's talking to the protagonist. Like in that first time he meets her, and she's like, he has all the control over me because he has my son, and he has this fake drawing that I said was real. And she just seems so defeated. And then she perks up when he comes out of her performance was so good, and I love this character, and her arc was so interesting and compelling that I had to give her my MVP.
Not well deserved.
It was a very complete arc too. You know what I mean? Like it's very satisfying to see her go from that, like you're saying, like despair and sad. You can see it in her eyes to then become that free and powerful and capable, independent woman by the end of the film. It's a nice arc. It's a nice journey.
And the twist. That's her that jumped off the boat. It's so great.
And exactly. It's those little things, especially like on the first viewing, that you're not seeing it, and then when you see the twist, it's like, oh snap, and you still appreciate it with each viewing.
Sure,
it's just like, and I think that's definitely why I was like, I gotta get the best scene, because it's just like it's so crazy to really take that in. And you're not gonna hear arguments from me because that was my best scene. So giving her the MVP, I'm just like, yeah, that's 100%. My MVP, we've talked about him a lot. It goes to Ludwig.
Oh
for the
shoot!
score. Yeah, so like he's gotten
nice.
some love throughout the podcast. So I was like, as you guys are saying, I was like, "All right, cool, yo, that's my MVP." You're just building my case. I know there's no arguments here. Everyone had something to say about him. But I read also too that because it was, which I thought was kind of strange too, like because it was during COVID, the orchestra actually couldn't get together.
Right.
So he recorded each person by themselves and then put them together.
Wow.
Yeah, which is not normal. And he was like, I'm just gonna have to figure this out. But I thought it was kind of weird because you can shoot a whole movie, but an orchestra can't get together. There's way more people in the movie in these big elaborate scenes, especially in the opera. And there's people performing music in that.
Think about how many.
That's a great point. That's a great point. But you couldn't get the orchestra together. That part kind of confused me, but
Yeah, that's it. Well,
Well, it could have been filmed before COVID.
yeah, I was gonna get. That's would have
because it came out in
my guess.
2020, I guess.
Is it was filmed like he did the music after, and then the lockdown rules are maybe a bit different. But
No, I like this theory of hey, social distancing.
yeah,
You can't record.
I mean,
it's a woodwind instrument. All right, I'm blowing.
I mean, I do remember though during that time, like because we'd never gone through a worldwide pandemic like that. Like some stuff was really wishy washy, and like some stuff was weird where it's like you can do this, but you can't do this. So like,
there was no toilet paper.
yeah.
yeah.
What the hell is going on here?
I mean, in some places you could have recorded. Like they let you make movies like in different places. Sometimes like, oh, the lockdowns, we good over here. I think
Depending on the
Australia
country, I
and
guess,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But hey, yeah.
Taking all that, still no one wanted Dasani water.
Wait, what?
But you'd go through a whole pandemic.
Oh, and there was still
Dasani was still on the
Yeah.
shelves.
all of it gone. Dasani's still there. I'm
that's
like,
tough.
damn.
Shout out Coke, yo. but no, and another part we talked about too is also just it was that like
Yeah,
I
so
said
good.
it was in the opening, and it's also they play it when they're sneaking into Priya's, and they also play it when like as the plan is forming, and he's like
Right.
telling them about all that, and I was like, this is hard. I think one of the hardest ones too. Like the hardest like parts that they could like the one of the, I don't know what the name of the song was that they composed, but it was when Seder was like getting angry. It was the scene when Kat's pointing the gun at him.
Okay.
And then he's just like he slaps it and then he's hitting her and stuff like that. That like music that's behind him, it's like, oh, this guy's an evil bastard. Yo.
You hear like the
yeah.
breathing effect that's in. I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard that. Like I think I put that in my notes there. Like you hear like heartbeat and you hear like
Yeah.
a breathing in it.
And it's just like this heavy, like just like score that's going behind him where it's just like look at me, like he's screaming. I'm like, oh shit, this is like almost like a Joker monologue or like
Yeah.
some kind of crazy just like villain monologue. And I was like, oh, this stuff, this bangs. I was like, I gotta give it to him. You know, so
You know, going back to that scene actually, so I feel like so often the antagonist of a film is just evil for the sake of being evil kind
Yeah.
of thing. And this was the first viewing where I felt like maybe I could start to see some of his reasoning a little bit. So imagine you're just some guy born in like this ghetto Russian town
Yeah.
where you're mining through plutonium and radioactive stuff, and you're given this gift of information from the future.
Yeah.
You've built this vast empire, but essentially handed to you.
Yeah.
And then here comes along this woman that's your girl who you think she's looking down at. Like he says it to you. I think I have it written down.
Yeah.
Like you think you're better than me. Like you're looking down at me. Like he's almost like this little insecure man who's never
Yeah.
been able to accomplish anything himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? He says it with her. Like, if I can't have you, no one can have you.
Yeah.
If I can't have this world, no one's having this
Yeah.
world. He's like a insecure little man who's
Yeah.
like, at any opportunity, he wants to show dominance and control. And
Yeah.
I never earned this, but I'm going to be in control of you. And
Yeah.
this was the viewing that was the idea that was through my head. Like, this is who this antagonist is. He's not just evil to be evil. Like, this is an insecure person that wants to hurt people and assert dominance.
Shouldn't have married a girl that was 6'4".
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's
Yeah, that's a good point. It's 100%, yo. 100%. I can relate to that. My girl's taller than me, yo.
Damn.
yeah. Honestly, I was wondering like when she first came out, I was like she kind of reminded me of Eloise.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, she's tall and like
Eloise isn't that tall. She's not
no,
6'4".
she's not 6'4", but she's tall.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's in this art community and
Yeah.
like smart. Like your girl's a scientist. Like she's really smart. And I was like, you better watch out though, bro. You better not try to end the world. She's gonna foil your plan, bro.
Yo, I haven't seen the movie, but I always joked with her. I was like, yo, this is our origin story. Yo. This movie's our origin story. And like she actually wanted to do that. That's why it's crazy.
What do you mean?
Like she wanted to be someone that like looks at like painting and stuff.
Oh, no
and
way.
And like that's like literally was her choice. She's like, don't want to go into chemistry because it's a little bit of science too, and she likes art. She's like
Okay, right.
leaning towards that. So when she was telling me that, like I just watched Tenet. I'm like, yo. Short
hell?
black dude, tall.
Ah.
She's not the actor's not French though, so it doesn't fit.
Oh, true.
But still, I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I was
No,
like,
she reminded me of Eloise. That was what I thought of. I
That's
was
so
like,
funny. Start calling yourself the protagonist when you go home.
yeah, exactly.
Dion,
You
go
tell
do,
her, bro, yeah,
go
from
do the
now on.
dishes,
Yeah,
Dion.
exactly.
I'm the protagonist.
Yeah. What's up? I'm Scott. He's the protagonist.
Oh, jeez.
oh my goodness.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. That we
That's a great movie.
that
a
was
good movie.
good movie. Yeah,
a
yeah,
good
good
one.
movie. It was a good movie.
He didn't want you
feel-
to say great.
I can't
He
say
didn't want to say
Yeah.
that.
I
But
can't
here's
say
the-
great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't say
Again,
great.
underappreciated, I
Yeah.
think.
I agree. I think it's good. Like 100%. Like people that say it's not a good movie, but I think it's just that Christopher Nolan we expect so much of him
Yeah,
now that
that's
like
fair.
people aren't saying it's a bad movie. They're saying it's lower on his.
If it's not a 9-10, it was a failure. I feel like a lot of people feel
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
Nolan. If it's not like a ball out of the wall, out of the park type of thing,
Yeah, exactly.
waste of time.
Yeah, and again, I truly think this. Like, if another unknown director made this movie and put this concept, I think people would shit on it.
Yeah.
being
I
like,
don't
why is
think
he trying to
people would
make
give it
this
the
such a
chance.
complex? Yeah, people wouldn't
Yeah.
even give it a chance. Like, why is this guy
Oh,
trying to make
this is too
complicated ass
complicated.
movie? Yeah, who's this guy? Da, da, da. But if it's an established director, people like they take some grace, they pull it back. I think also because they realize that like if you shut on a Nolan movie, you're gonna get some hate.
Exactly.
Nolan's got fans like the Beehive, yo.
Oh,
He's
no.
like-
but I'm curious though, like, because this is not the same kind of concept, but like Memento, for example, is like
Yeah.
a weirder concept.
Yeah.
But they're not going to give him the budget of a
Tenet. Yeah.
on a
No.
Memento.
No. Which it didn't even need really.
No.
So
But you wouldn't even try to do that. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
they give you like $10 million, you're not going to try and make a Tenet.
No,
Jesus
for sure.
Christ.
No, you
100%.
couldn't.
No,
Yeah.
but
couldn't.
I think it's interesting to see like he's always had one time as a theme, whether it's kind of
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, but he's always had those kind of thought heavy, you know, makes you
No,
think
for
a
sure.
little,
Yeah, that's
right?
his thing, dude. That's
Yeah.
his thing. Is mine like Inception, Interstellar, Memento, Tenet. All that. This is his thing. Is
Honestly,
like
even
he
Oppenheimer.
wants you to walk into a movie and have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
And
it makes you think though.
100%.
And then like I think about off the podcast, we've had conversations like this about a Nolan movie. I don't know how many times. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
all
And
the
it's
time.
like it makes you think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that.
Well, it was definitely from that era where he definitely like establishes all that. Because I would say at the beginning he wasn't always like The Following, Insomnia, and even like Memento and Prestige. They weren't. I guess once
Prestige is
Memento
a bit,
came out.
Prestige is a bit mindfucky.
You think so?
It's
I think
not hard
it's
to follow.
Yeah, it's
though.
not hard.
But it
No.
is a mind fuck.
No,
Like,
but
it's
like
more
the
so
whole
just,
concept
oh,
of
what's
like
going on?
cloning
Magic
yourself.
and stuff.
And,
Yeah, okay, I guess that's true. I get that happens more later on though, because when you watch the movie, you just think it's just you just watch it as what. I don't want to spoil this if you haven't seen.
Yeah, not too
So,
much. Yeah.
we won't say too much.
all I
but-
know is if I watch a Nolan movie with my girl, I got to prepare for questions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
You
No,
know
that's
what I
fair.
mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I could watch down. I could
Tarantino
watch
and
a.
there's no questions really.
Yeah, you know, people die.
Yeah.
Blood and guts. Nolan movie, I gotta
Yeah.
get Wikipedia loaded up as soon as the movie's done.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Everybody that's listening, thank you so much to Jordan.
Thank you for
being
having
a
me.
guest on the podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at the Film Room Pod. Leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us out if you want to support the podcast. And I guess that's it.
That's it. I take
That's
it away.
it.
I can
Dion, take it away.
All
Yeah.
right. So I'm gonna pull an audible here.
Ooh.
I want to thank Jordan again first of all,
Okay.
just for being on the
Double
show.
thank
So
you.
that's
Appreciate
Jordan.
it.
For those
Thank
that
you,
are
thank you.
watching in the YouTube, that's Jordan. That's Scott. I'm the protagonist, and we'll see you.
Hey.
And we'll see you next week. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Hey.